ただいまより遊戯王特別試合 AR エキシビジョンを開始します。青コーナーよりカリスマデュエリストイバルバーの登場です。よろしく。昨年に引き続きこのマスターが、AR デュエルの覇者となる。
なるほど。だが残念ながら今年のチャンピオンは私がいただくぞ。
まあ私はこの私の去年のこの AR デュエルでカイザー海馬も破ってるからな。
なるほど。
イバルバーごとき敵ではない。
違いを見せてやる。ではデュエルといこうか。
よし。
さあでは行くぞ。先行は私がもらう。
お、先行を取るだと。
では早速行こう。魔法カード融合発動。
いきなり融合。
手札のエレメンタルヒーローレザーマン、そしてバーストレディを
なんだと
素材に融合召喚だ。いくぞ。来いエレメンタルヒーローフレアウィングマン。
うわ、なんだ。
さあ準備は万端だ。これでターンエンド来るがいい。
では私のターンだ。ドロー。なるほど。では私は手札から熟練の黒魔術師を召喚。
ほうほう。
さあさらにいくぞ。手札からディメンションマジックを発動。
おっと
熟練の黒魔術師をリリースし現れよブラックマジシャンガール。
ほうブラックマジシャンか。だが攻撃力が2000まだ足りないんではないか。
さらにディメンションマジックの効果で相手フィールドのモンスター一体破壊。
何
エレメンタルヒーローフレームウィングマンを破壊だ。
己マスター。うわー、なかなかやるではないか。さすが元チャンピオン。
さあガラ空きになったイバルバー、バトルフェイス入るぞ。ブラックマジシャンガールでダイレクトアタック。
攻撃力2000だと。
2000ダメージだ。
だがまだ2戦残ってる。戦いはこれからだ。
それでは私はターンエンドしよう。
では行こう。私のターン。ドロー。いいカードが来たぞ。行くぞマスター。私はこのカードを召喚。現れろ。カードガンナー。
カードガンナー。
そしてカードガンナーの効果を使わして、デッキからカードを3枚持ち入れる。そのカードの数かける500ポイントアップする。よって攻撃力が1900となるのだ。
1900、まだブラックマンシャンがあるのが上だぞ。
確かにそうだな。だがまだ私の手札が1枚ある。ここで魔法カードミラクルフュージョンを発動させてもらおう。
ミラクルフュージョン
先ほどカードガンナーの効果で持ちしてやったスパーク、そしてフレイングウィングマンを素材に融合召喚だ。来いエレメンタルヒーローシャイニングフレアウィングマン。
これゲイヤルと2500
だが2500だけではない。自身の効果のパワーアップによりカードが2枚よって3100となるわけだ。
3100攻撃力。
どうだマスター。
これはまずい、さすがに。
ではバトルといかしてもらおうか。まずはシャイニングフレアウィングマンでブラックマンシャンガールに攻撃だ。
これは受けざるを得ない。
食らうがいい。
ブラックマンシャンガールを破壊される。
さらにシャイニングフレアウィングマンには効果が一つ。
効果。
このモンスターが戦闘で破壊したモンスターの攻撃力分だけお前にダメージだ。
2000ダメージ。
さらに食らうがいい。削っていくぞライフをな。
残り900、まずい。
残り900。カードガンナーの攻撃力が1900。終わりだな。いけカードガンナー。
しかしその時私は手札からクリボーを発動。
何。
手札からクリボーを捨てることでその戦闘ダメージはゼロだ。危ない。
命見るぞ。私はこれでターンエンドだ。
では私のターン、起死回生のドロー。来い。来たな。このカードが
来た。
手札から死者蘇生を発動。墓地のブラックマンシャンガールを対象に発動し、ブラックマンシャンガールを特殊感を再び現れよう。
なんだ。だがまだ攻撃力が低いんだ。
確かにシャイニングフレアウィングは倒せないな。それではさらに手札にあった光の5風景も発動しておこう。
これは
これで3ターンの間イバルワには攻撃されない。
なるほど。考えたなマスター。
さあバトルフェーズ、攻撃力の低くなったカードガンナーにブラックマンシャンガールでアタック。
ダメージを受けてしまう。こ
れで1600ダメージだ。
だがここでカードガンナーの効果発動。破壊された時にデッキからカードを1枚ドローする。ドロー。
何が引ける。そして私はこのままターンエンドだ。
ターンエンドだ。では行こう。私のターンドロー。なるほど。だからこのターン光の無限の効果によって攻撃ができなくなっている。私はここでカードを1枚セットして、ここはターンエンドだ。
よし。じゃあ私のターンだ。何かシャイニングフライウィングワンを打ち破る手を。なるほど。私は引いたカードをそのままセット。
おっと。
そしてターンエンドだ。
なるほど。では行こう。私のターンドロー。これはいいカードだ。光の動きによって攻撃はできないが、装備魔法アサルトアーマーをシャイニングフレアウィングの
なるほど。
攻撃力をアップさせ戦闘の準備をしておこう。
攻撃力はこれで3400。
3400だ。
なるほど。
ではこのままターンエンドだ。
このままでは光の5風景が切れてしまう。私のターンドロー。うわ来た。いくぞ手札から魔導士の力を発動し、ブラックマンシャンガールに装備。魔法トラップの数かける500ポイントアップすることでブラックマンシャンガールの攻撃力は3500だ。
さ3500だと。
シャイニングフレアウィンガーは3400。バトルフェイズブラックマンシャンガールで攻撃
させるか。トラップ発動。ヒーロー剣山。
なんだと。
手札からランダムに1枚選び、それがモンスターカードだった場合特殊召喚できる。私の手札は1枚。つまりこのカードを特殊召喚。来いエレメンタルヒーローネオス。
守備表示で特殊召喚だと。
守備表示だ。盤面を固まらせてもら
う。なるほど。では私はそのままブラックマンシャンガールで攻撃を続行するぞ。シャイニングフレアウィンガーにアタックだ。
ここは仕方あるまい。
100ダメージ。
受けてやろう。100のダメージをな。
さあ残りイバルバのライフは300。
300。
私はこのままターンエンドだ。
このまま行くぞ、私のターン。ドロー。なるほど、ここはモンスターをセット。そのままターンエンドだ。
なるほど、この時光の風景の効果が切れる。そして魔導士の力の効果でブラックマンシャンガールは攻撃力が3000になる。私のターン、このまま押し切る。ドロー。来たぞ。
なんだ
これは勝つぞ、私は。
何。
手札から洗脳ブレインコントロールを発動。
これは
800ラインポイント支払い。エレメンタルヒーローネオスのコントロールを得る。
バカな。
さあ守備表示だ。そしてそのネオスのそのまま攻撃表示。
来るのか。
さあ決めるぞ。
マスター。
バトルフェイス。エレメンタルヒーローネオスでアタックだ。
セットされたモンスターは羽クリボー。
羽クリボー。
残念だったなマスターよ。
ネオスで攻撃して戦闘破壊だ。
仕方あるな。だが羽クリボーが破壊された時にこのターン戦闘ダメージはゼロだ。
なんだと、じゃあブラックマシャンガールで攻撃してもしょうがないのか。
その通り。
それでは仕方がない。このままターンエンドだ。
では行こう。ネオスは取り返したぞ。
仕方がない。
私のターンドロー。マスター、このデュエル私の勝ちだ。
なんだと。
召喚ネオスペーシャングラモール。バトルするモンスターを手札に戻せる。つまりネオスの攻撃がそのまま通っても私の勝ちだな。
ブラックマシャンガールを手札に戻そうというのか。しかしその召喚待った。
なんだ。
トラップカード黒魔族復活の棺発動。相手の召喚と召喚に順で発動してブラックマシャンガールとグランモールを持ち送る。
おのれマスター。
そしてデッキから現れよブラックマジシャン。
ブラックマジシャン攻撃力が2500か。このまま攻められない。ターンエンドだ。
よーし、あのネオスさえ倒せれば私の勝ちだ。私のターンドロー。
果たして倒せるかな。
来たぞイバルバ。手札から魔術の呪文書発動。ブラックマジシャンがブラックマジシャンに装備。攻撃力が3200になる。
3200。
イバルバのライフは残り300だ。
このまま
私のバトルフェイス。ブラックマジシャンで攻撃。これでワールドチャンピオンシップ開幕だ。
これは踊れマスター。
勝者マジで私の勝ちだ。いいデュエルだったな。
良きデュエルだ。次は必ず勝たせてもらおう。
また受けるぞ。 びで熱き戦いを繰り広げます。最終決戦を迎えるファイナリストたちに熱い声援をお願いします。 Are you ready? Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018! The final showdown! Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018! 選手の登場です。The first match, Dragon Duel. On the blue side, from the USA, Charlie Butch III. On the red side, from Germany, Kai Heidinger. The second match, Duel Links. On the blue side, from Brazil, Junior Silva. On the red side, from Japan, Takahiro Hamada. The third match, Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship. On the blue side, from Taiwan, Wang Jiachen. On the red side, from Australia, Bogdan Tebnik.以上3部門6名のファイナリストによる世界大会決勝戦ただいまより開幕いたします。 Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018! It's time to duel!
Hello and welcome back to the World Championships 2018 for Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm joined with Jerome McHale and Robert Boyagin, and we're here with this crowd full of fantastic people to witness a crowning of a new champion.
That's right, we've got 2 duelists left in each division, and that's one too many. There's not enough room in this town for both of them, so we need one last round to determine who is the world champion in Yu-Gi-Oh! Both in Dragon Duel, the All Ages event, and in Duel Links.
Indeed. Choose your side, red or blue. We'll see which one will be crowned this year's world champion.
The crowd has been invited to do the same. They're participating in a stamp rally. They're able to turn in their cards for their votes. But if you're at your world celebration right now, which I hope you're not, it's a little late, back home at least, make sure you make your picks as well. So I'm pretty excited for these matchups we have today. So in the main event, which is going to be the last on the schedule, we've got Trickstar versus Altergeist, with Bodan Temnik on Altergeist and Shin from Taiwan on the pure Trickstar. We saw him play very well earlier today. That's going to be a pretty exciting match, I think.
We talked over that multiple times about how that would be possibly the most interesting final, so I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. But before that, we got to get our new Dragon Duel finalists. Charlie Futch III from the United States is in his 2nd consecutive World Championship appearance. He fell short in the semifinals last time around, and in his last year of eligibility, he has made it to the finals. And he finds himself in a Goki mirror match against Kai Hettinger of Germany. What do we know about Mr. Hettinger?
Not much. He's very, very solemn. He doesn't really talk too much, but he certainly has a very interesting deck that we've been talking a lot about today.
Indeed, and I think you know something about that deck. You got it right in front of you.
I do indeed. Do I? Or is yours not okay?
What we also have in front of us are these awesome things that everyone's been getting given as they walk in, so they can join in with the festivities. You got to pick red or blue, and they also light up, which I like.
Yeah, so on both sides, we were talking about Goki mirror match. We got the solemn Hettinger against the little bit boastful Charlie Futch III.
Yeah, Charlie's on his second time around, though, so you can forget a little bit of braggadocio.
Yeah, no, I mean, he lost out in the top 4 last year, is that correct?
That's right.
To Ryan Yu.
To Ryan.
Yeah, who actually ended up getting 9th in the main event this year after he aged out.
Yep.
So Charlie is back with a vengeance. Goki mirror match. Both of them have a bunch of sweet tech on hiding your side. We have cards like Spell Striker.
Indeed, I love Spell Striker. That's a good one.
Yep, a ton of interesting choices. Less interaction, no trap cards. Anything interesting on Futch's side?
Before we talk about that, we have a VT coming up very soon.
My name is Charlie Futch. Oh, I'm from Indiana. I was here at Worlds last year, and that's it. I've played in some regionals. My strength is playing combo decks and doing well at big events. I think I'm gonna win because I know how to play my deck mostly better than everyone else, in my opinion.
Ich heiße Kai Heidinger, ich bin 13 Jahre alt, ich komme aus Deutschland. Ganz gut, ich habe sehr oft gegen Altergeist gespielt. Das Schlimmste ist bei Goki, da ist es eigentlich nur wichtig, wer anfängt beim Spielen. Ja. Vielleicht ein bisschen Erfahrung, weil ich seit 2014 spiele. Also ich versuch's.
So you asked me before the break
match,
if there's anything interesting in Charlie's deck.
On the blue side, from the USA, Charlie Futch III. On the red side, from Germany, Kai Heidinger. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Dragon Duel 開始いたします。
So you asked me before the break, is there anything interesting or unique about Charlie Futch's deck?
Yes.
And the answer is no. And that is what the interesting thing about it is.
Yeah, he has a very standard streamlined version of the Goki deck. Focuses heavily on just comboing out and getting that maximum consistency, which is huge.
In a tournament where everybody else is doing something different to try to distinguish themselves from the crowd, Charlie's basically banking on their tech choices creating inconsistencies that can allow his standard deck to win more easily.
Indeed. The biggest difference we'll see between the decks is how they try to interact. On one side, we have Infinite Impermanence. The other side, we have cards like Droll and Lockbird. And another big defining aspect of Heidinger's deck is 3 main deck copies of Neospatial and Aqua Dolphin.
Indeed. And I see he also has the Topologic Gumblar Dragon in his extra deck as opposed to the side deck as well.
Right, so that means that he gains access to a different type of Goki combo. We may see him whip it out, but a lot of the times just extra linking with a Tri-Gate Wizard is typically enough. So we might see that in games 2 and 3 when we expect more cards like Wing Dragon Raw Sphere Mode and answers to the combo that can beat Tri-Gate Wizard.
It's interesting though. Do the Goki mirror matchers really, do they really put in cards like Sphere Mode, or do they just take their chances?
It depends on the list. I think that more recently in this tournament, we've seen a higher dedication to just hand traps rather than the answers to the field already.
Ciphering Gear Gamma has been a popular choice throughout the event.
Absolutely. We even saw a couple of guys, you know, banking on playing that in Goki, but unfortunately it didn't work out too well for those guys.
So that was the going second Goki deck.
Yeah.
Can you briefly explain basically what the rationale behind that is?
Yeah, so the rationale was that they think that the opponent's always going to choose first when they win the die roll, and if they win the die roll, they're going to just pick second. So with that deck, they're always going to get to go for, you know, second when they want to, whoever wins the die roll, and then they built purely around that. So lots more hand traps than usually in the Goki deck. And then instead of trying to extra link at all, they are just aiming to be able to put enough damage on the board during the first turn after stopping their opponent and just OTKing right away.
And I think that was a response to basically perceiving a lot of mirror matches being the case.
Exactly. Which, and basically the two guys who brought that deck ended up playing against a bunch of Altergeist.
Yeah.
But it wound up not being the case. There really weren't too many Goki mirror matches, right?
No, definitely not. It looks like Goki had the target on its head for the tournament, so we saw a lot of anti-meta decks like Altergeist. We saw Sky Striker, Pure Trickstar, just a ton of decks all trying to interact as much as possible. So going second, probably not the best strategy when your opponent's going to set up with a bunch of trap cards and ways to interact.
So the semifinals in Dragon Duels were both Goki versus Altergeist, if memory serves me correctly. And in both cases, Altergeist, the deck built to take on Goki, was unsuccessful.
Yes.
2 in a row.
Which is very different to how the main event's been looking. So the main event,
Goki's gone.
Yeah, Goki's going to be completely taken out, but mostly by Altergeist.
Indeed, Bodan Tebnik took out the last Altergeist duelist in the semifinals.
Goki duelist.
Earlier, is the last Goki duelist in the semifinals earlier today.
Yeah.
So our judges are going over the ground rules for the final match right now.
Yep.
They are basically the same as always. It is a best of 3.
Yeah, as you can see, these guys all headsetted up. The crowd has completely filled this venue, so there's a bunch of noise between us and them, but just in case, they got those headsets on.
And I'm checking behind me, and they are, in fact, delivering their undivided attention to the stage at the moment, waiting for this thing to get started. And this is just, the mirror match in the finals is really, that's tough. That's a tough ask right there.
Yeah.
Because so much is up to chance in this particular mirror match. And, you know, say something doesn't go wrong, something goes wrong in game 1. You want to make sure that you don't mess up your own combo in game 2 if you get the chance.
Right.
So, mental fortitude is the name of the game in this particular matchup. And also, having something that you can do to interact on your opponent's first turn.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think that the die roll is going to play a big part here, but it's not the deciding factor because it takes, you know, a good duelist to be able to stop their opponent at the right time with the right hand traps.
Yeah, the big thing is that Futch also has access to Ghost Reaper and Wearing Cherries in the main deck, whereas Heidinger brings it out of the side deck. So Ghost Reaper and Wearing Cherries being a huge bane to the Goki deck, removing all the Isoldes from their extra deck so that they aren't able to accomplish their sort of bread and butter combo.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In fact, during the pre-deck submission meetings earlier today, I saw Charlie talking to William about the merits of playing Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries as he was still trying to figure out his hand trap lineup. But Charlie knew, he knew what he wanted to play, and it was Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries.
Yeah.
A very good pick for this tournament overall, I think.
In addition to the fact that they expected so much Goki, it also could be a big answer to Neospatian Aquadolphin. One of the cards you expect to be very good against hand traps, you get to look at your hand, rip one out. But if they have the Ghost Reaper, they can just respond with it immediately. Now they're down a card and no Isoldes in their extra deck.
Indeed, and if you expected a bunch of Sky Striker, you could even use it against that, but I'm not certain that either of these duelists did. I'm not really seeing any copies of Sky Striker in their extra decks.
No.
Not so much.
Yeah, we talked a bit about how Ghost Reaper and Wearing Cherries is interesting against Sky Striker, and that if they are playing the pure version, they normal summon Ray.
Yes.
It's sort of hard to beat them because they can just respond and get whichever, either Kagari or Shizuku you have not targeted, or they just save whichever one.
Well, that's the thing, though. You can choose after they use their Ray.
Correct, yeah.
So you have to play both, which is 2 slots in your extra deck, and that's not necessarily something that Goki can afford there.
Yeah.
Something that I'm finding quite amazing is that although both sleeves are actually red, because of the lighting in here, it looks like one of the guy's sleeves are red and one is blue. It looks awesome.
I actually think they are blue.
Yeah, oh, really?
They're
pre-sleeved. Oh, okay.
Red, yes.
Well, there you go.
So I saw
That's probably why, yeah.
The players were in the judges' room this morning,
they
the judge
re-sleeved.
waiting room,
Wow.
re-sleeving for the finals specifically.
There you go.
Got to be careful with those when you're walking past the pyrotechnics, though. You don't want to singe your deck right before you go on stage.
No, there was a large number of fireballs being cast just a little while back during the opening ceremony.
Now, this production is great. It really got my blood pumping. If you tuned in at the very start, you got to see a performance by DJ Yummy and a Taiko drum crew.
Yes.
It was extremely entertaining.
Yeah, big DJ Yummy fan. I'm super excited to see her out here. Honestly, the whole crowd was pumped.
They were.
Yeah, if you did not see that, you missed out. So make sure to check out the VOD.
Right now, we are deciding basically who's going to go first here.
Yep. So they're
counting out the decks.
Yeah, they're being told to count their opponent's deck.
Yeah, verify the content.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, those sleeve colors are here to help you out in terms of which side is blue and which side is red. So Charlie Futch will be playing with the blue sleeves, while as Kai Heidinger will be playing with the red.
Is he?
Yes, right now they're counting the opponent's
Oh,
decks.
the opponent's deck.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I initially thought that there was a little bit of a switcheroo, but not quite.
It's not like it hasn't happened before. We've had entire Burning Abyss decks exchanged on stream.
Indeed, yeah. That was the 2014 NAWCQ, maybe?
I believe so. It was Frankino's. Joe Frankino, you probably know him if you've been to a number of Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series events. One of our regular judges.
Indeed, and now coverage writer.
Indeed.
So yeah, we had just a miscount of one of the decks there, so they're having another good count to make sure that everything is all good before the match starts.
You don't want to have anything go wrong in front of a crowd of thousands, would you?
No, that would be
everything's got to be on the up and up.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why pretty much the whole judge team is stood right there next to them.
So when we were coming in, you know, we talked about the thunder sticks, the blue and red sticks that you bang together, make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
You see them at basketball games a lot of the times behind the opponent's basket to use during free throw shots to make them miss. So everybody got them on their seats, and the judges came in and they also got them on their seats to cheer.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there like, what are we supposed to cheer for? We're impartial. We're supposed to ref this thing.
So I proceeded to go and steal them because I kept banging mine too hard and breaking them. That's what happened there. So as you can see on the, well, actually no, you can't see the overlay yet, which is good.
Possibly a little too much enthusiasm on the thunder sticks.
Yeah, a little bit too much. I'm a big fan of those things, so you know, got it wave. I was trying to get just some reaction from the crowd. Yeah, we had a few guys who were waving at me with the sticks. So that was pretty cool.
Well, the key was we had to get them during the stamp rally while they were picking the winners.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And then they just waved the ones that they thought were going to win. So yeah, there was pretty 50-50 whether they were going to wave the blue or the red one. I didn't really see a pattern of blue or red, but
speaking of who's going to win, who do you guys have? Before any dice rolls, who are
this
you
one,
thinking?
you know, I think I'll take Charlie. Charlie's been here before, essentially. He knows what it's like to fall just short, and I think his experience in this situation is going to help him keep a level head and get this done.
You think that on top of the fire, obviously, from last year, right?
Yes.
I mean, it got so close, yet so far lost to his friend, Ryan Yu, and now he's back.
That's the thing, you know, Ryan Yu, good friend of his, he saw him win that and then come back again this year, and I'm certain that he wants to do the same.
Exactly. How do you feel over there, Luke? Who do you think?
I think I'm going to go with Kai.
Yeah.
I think he was playing Goki at the EUWCQ, and yeah, that's him following through with that is that's my reasoning behind that.
All right, we only got moments left. Who you got?
I think I got my man Charlie Futch, USA, primarily because of his choice of main deck, Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. I think that will definitely give him an edge in the matchup, and I think it's just lined up so well against the Neospatial and Aqua Dolphin that seeing that interaction might just completely turn the tables, even if Heidinger wins the die roll.
All right, well, if you're watching at home, let us know who you got in the chat. Comments, if they're open.
We're not going to be quite there yet, though. I've just heard that, yeah, we're going to have a double check of exactly how many cards each player has in their deck from their deck lists. So we're going to have to go find those.
Interesting. Well, we have the deck list right here. Let's see how many they're supposed to have.
We could run over and hand them, but I think it's much further than where they've got the deck list stored.
No, you can't use all your energy now. We still got a full match to
That's
cast.
a good point.
And then we got another one later on.
Yeah, running
you
all the way
save
over there.
your energy.
Yeah. I'm just coming back on the up from my jet lag. I kind of dip as the day goes on, and kind of come back up. So yeah, during the interlude we had today, I was on the down, and then had some pizza, and then back up. It's going to work out. It's working out at the moment. Let's see if I can.
I was doing good. I got a little pumped up waving the sticks around.
Yeah, the
It was
drums
great.
was amazing.
Drums
That got me really going, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still so excited to see the DJ come. So from there onward, seeing everyone dance, everyone's so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, shout out to that one guy who was in the back just going crazy the entire time.
Yeah.
I want everyone to be like that guy.
Yeah,
he rules.
Exactly. Every club you've ever been in, there's that one person, they don't know how they're dancing, but the limbs are moving and stuff's happening. That was that one guy who was in the back just now.
He's the man, and I hope he gets super pumped for the rest of this tournament as well.
I hope so. I hope the camera guy manages to find him in the crowd, because that would be amazing.
All right, so I'm taking a look here, and Heininger should have 29 monsters, 13 spells, for a grand total of 42 cards.
Okay.
That's a little bigger than you might expect.
Yep. On Futch's side, we have 26 monsters, 12 spells, and 3 trap cards, so a total of 41 cards.
41.
Okay. So they're both not playing 40, which makes it kind of interesting. So both of them may have questioned this.
Now, 42 is about the limit you get to before you start seeing appreciable decreases in seeing your key cards, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that can still be, you can still offset that by running essentially extra copies of things, searchers, that sort of thing, terraform, reinforce with the army, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, especially in the Goki deck when there's so many options in terms of cards that can start your combo, like Junk Forward, Spell Striker, Gilosaurus, Instant Fusion. There's just a ton. So the fact that you can really just add all these extra cards, you can kind of go above that 40 limit and still maintain combo consistency.
Yes, indeed. And the part of the thing with Goki in particular is that you can't really play the big draw cards. There was a time when if your deck couldn't play Pot of Desires, it wasn't your deck. You shouldn't be playing it. But nowadays, when the combo decks are this powerful, you can't play Pot of Desires. You can't get those extra cards because if you banish a key combo piece like a Divine Sword Phoenix Blade or both of your equips, then you're out of luck. You can't do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. When Pot of Desires first came out, it was used for consistency in decks that played just 3 of everything. So
yeah, that was just a couple years ago. It was actually right before a previous World Championship. And the whole thing with Pot of Desires, it was the Dark Illusion. That was the set that just came out. And there was a question on whether or not to allow the Dark Illusion in the World Championship that year. And it was an argument over, well, yeah, of course we should, versus it's a massive disadvantage to everybody who hasn't had it for 3 months because Pot of Desires is a complicated card.
Yeah, it completely changed how we looked at deck building, like you were mentioning. It rewarded decks for playing 3 copies of cards, like Blue Eyes would be an example of one.
Yes.
They don't really care how many cards they banish from their deck because they have so much redundancy. And decks that need key cards like combo strategies such as Goki, you were talking about Divine Sword, other equipped spells that they really need to send to the graveyard, or Octostretch that they really need to special summon from the deck. Banishing any of those would be super detrimental.
Yeah, huge risk, really huge risk. But we saw it pay off in decks like Blue Eyes. That was in the World Championships in 2016.
Yeah, Blue Eyes in particular. That was what, back in Orlando?
Yeah, back in
Orlando.
Yeah, that was being played back then.
That was a very interesting tournament as well.
Yeah, it was a huge discussion as well of 2 versus 3
on Pot of Desires.
Yeah, that was always an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because 3 is obviously when you're desperate for the advantage in the deck. You really, really want to see it. Whereas 2 was more like you kind of want to see it, but
you want to see 1 and exactly 1.
Yes, you don't want to see anything more than 1.
But you want to draw it more than 15% of your games.
Yes, exactly. So you can't just play 1.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of 2.
I was actually on the 3 train for a very long time because I figured banishing 10 cards, it's very likely that I'm going to banish another Pot of Desires in those 10. However, the number of times I drew a second Pot of Desires off my first Pot of Desires, I went back to 2 very quickly.
Yeah, I do it anyways, even though I have 2.
Yeah.
Almost every time.
Yeah.
But I am legendarily unlucky for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I flip-flopped a lot.
Well, just know that by me drawing all these Pot of Desires, statistically, you aren't. That's basically how it works.
Law of large numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So one thing from Charlie Futch's side deck that I found interesting was Magical Midbreaker Field.
Yes.
And I don't think we saw that at all in the entire tournament so far.
No.
Hasn't been played.
Yeah, so in both, I don't think it was very popular in the European WCQ either, right? It was in the North American WCQ, we didn't see it at all. How about in the European side?
Sorry, say that again. I was getting information in my ear.
No worries. Magical Midbreaker Field.
No, not at all. We didn't get it at all.
The region I think it was the most popular in by far was OCG, the Asian region. Yeah, so we see it as a mainstay, usually a main deck card in a lot of the Goki decks. But they're more combo-oriented. They're usually playing cards like Armageddon Knight, Destiny Hero Malicious. They're going as far as they can because they have access to these additional link monsters that can even combo further than what we've seen at this World Championship thus far. But it is a card that can give you a huge edge against all those hand traps.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a little surprised, like, for example, that Charlie didn't main deck magical mid-breaker field, especially if he expected a lot of Altergeist.
Indeed.
All those targeting effects.
Yeah. For those at home who don't know what it does, please tell us, what does magical mid-breaker field do?
So you could only activate it at the start of main phase 1, and you can't activate any other field spells while it's in play. Now what it does is it prevents your monsters from being targeted or destroyed by card effects during the main phase 1. I believe it's just main phase 1, correct?
Yes.
You can't target monsters or your opponent controls?
So activate this card at the start of your main phase 1 or 2.
Oh, or 2, okay.
During each player's main phase 1, monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by their opponent's card effects. Also, neither player can target monsters their opponent controls. And then you cannot activate or set field spell cards. So when I first saw this card, it was actually used in combination with set rotation.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That makes sense.
That's a good one because your opponent couldn't just
Right, yeah, so
flip
you
up.
give it to your opponent and then they can't play any other cards.
Right. 'cause
Yeah,
you have to
especially if
flip
you're
it
playing a combo deck like Spiral, right? Like they really can't flip it because then all of your combos just go off. Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
up. Set rotation is one of those things that was really unpleasant.
Yeah.
It seemed to like come and go though, set rotation. I don't know whether that like
Oh, it went when it got limited.
Yeah,
That's when it
yeah.
went.
But it was just such a short amount of time that we seemed to have it. I guess because it was so powerful.
Yeah, but at that point, field spells were becoming so integral to decks, essentially, that having a version of terraforming that also stopped your opponent from doing anything, and that's mainly due to interactions with cards like Gateway of Chaos or Oracle of Zephyra that had a mandatory search effect on the start on their activation. So you weren't allowed to flip them if you didn't have an appropriate monster in your deck, and nobody had a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster in their deck. And most of them didn't have a Zephyr monster in their deck, so it was essentially a death sentence for anyone trying to play, Trickstar Light Stage or anything like that.
Yeah, one we did see in the European territories was Dragon Reveal.
Yes.
Because that was also useful for the Spiral deck. Some people were playing
Destrudo, right?
Destrudo,
The
yes.
Destrudo deck with Ancient Fairy Dragon.
Right, yeah, I think it was the Dark Spiral deck, right? There was
Yes.
a lot of versions of that, played Armageddon Knight.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do
that was
remember
very, very powerful. Similar
That was
sort of
big
to
hit.
I keep on making comparisons between Spiral and Goki.
Mm.
Both of those decks, there's a more combo-oriented version that plays Armageddon Knight. So I think that in addition, talking about set rotation, terraforming is
Yes.
limited in
Terraforming
the
is
OCG
limited.
and thus limited for this World Championship. So just to put the power level ranking on set rotation,
Yeah,
if
set rotation was limited first, was it not?
yes, it was. So if terraforming it can be limited in terms of power level, set rotation has to be it. Yeah.
That's one of the interesting things with the change to Trickstars.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the thing that Trickstar lost most? I think it's terraforming. It's not reincarnation at all.
Yeah, I don't think reincarnation. I remember when I initially saw it being put to 1 in the OCG. I thought about it more, and the fact that they always get to search the reincarnation when they have the Droll and Locker combo, they search it as a piece of interaction when they already have access to Lycoris. That's not really the consistency hit, right? It's indeed what you said, terraforming, and then also if you're looking at the TCG variants of Trickstars that tend to play the Sky Striker engine, they also lose Hornet drones, which is another huge consistency hit.
Indeed. We still got Sky Strikers here because they don't really need the Hornet drones so much. They're going for Ray.
Right, yeah.
That's their thing.
Yeah, it's very rare that they actually search Hornet drones. A lot of times you see it as a defensive card or maybe that card that gives them a little extra oomph, but because all of their Link monsters can special summon back the Ray when they leave the field, you really want Ray in the graveyard.
Yeah, so across the UK National Championships and then the following UVCQ, Hornet Drones was the card. People just didn't even play Ray because they weren't playing the pure version. It was all about Hornet Drones.
Yeah, it's got. So Sky Strikers they're a engine basically that can be their own deck, or they could just be your secondary card engine in a bunch of other decks. And it looks different depending on which deck you're playing. So like Trickstar Sky Striker, for example, uses Engage. Sometimes it uses Ray. I know Robbie likes to use Ray in it. You use Afterburners, Widow Anchor, all that good stuff. But if you go ahead and use it in Goki instead, then it's just Engage, it's Hornet Drones, and then it's Eagle.
Eagle Booster.
Eagle
and
Booster.
We're talking about in the Goki deck, right?
Yes, in the Goki
Yeah,
deck.
so the big difference in playing your Sky Striker engine, whether you're a combo or you're a control deck, right? So in the combo deck, you want cards like Eagle Booster, which will help protect your extra deck monsters from being targeted or affected by card effects, right? So you can push through their hand traps with Isolde.
Yes.
On the control side, you have cards like Afterburners and Widow Anchor, stuff to interact with your opponent or disrupt your opponent, or even edge out card advantage, right? Because even if your Link monster gets stopped by something, that doesn't really matter. You're going for the long game in those matchups.
So if you say with Goki, okay, it seems like, okay, it's this really consistent deck. You know, all you need is 2 warriors on the field. It's so easy. You run like 20 of them, and they're all special summons. But is it really a 2-card combo, or is the combo actually the 2 warriors you put on the field plus something to block at least one piece of interaction from your opponent?
You're right.
So plus Called by the Grave, or plus Midbreaker Field, or plus Eagle Booster, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's more than people are making out with that it's just a 2-card combo, because it's not nowadays. You know, modern Yu-Gi-Oh really involves those interaction cards, and if you're not prepared for that, then your combo's never going to work. So I think that it's integral nowadays to kind of be protected against that interruption. I know it feels like an extra level that we've stepped upon, but I think that's just where we're at now. Yeah, so that's how it works.
You have some people playing, upwards of 16 hand trap type cards in this deck.
Right. Yeah.
14 gives you what, a 90% chance to see one in your opening hand.
Yeah.
I think going up to 16 only gets you up to 94%. Eventually you hit diminishing returns on that.
Yeah, and then a big thing I think we were talking about at the office was the number of, or the percentage chance of getting 2 hand traps.
Yes.
That's what you really want, right? Because cards like Call by the Grave are such a staple in Goki that second card is really what you need.
Yes.
And we've seen duelists answer these turn 0 interaction cards in different ways, right? Call by the Grave is a definite staple, but whether you're playing cards like Eagle Booster or just more cards to combo off, so then maybe you can actually push through a hand trap, not by answering, but just by doing more, right? And I think that strategy tends to favor the combo decks because it also just adds more consistency to your strategy. You just have more starters, more extenders, you can just do more things.
It's interesting. So if you have 14, you got 90% to get 1, and it's about half of that to get 2. That's generally how it works once you get up to numbers that high. Whereas, the 2 warriors is almost automatic. It's close to 90 there in that place. But then you add in, depending on what the piece of interaction is, whether Called by the Grave or Magical Midbreaker Field is the other thing. And that's the limiting factor on your chances there.
Yeah.
So it's limited to, the 1 and 3 or the 1 and 6, depending on what you have in your deck.
And obviously, Magical Midbreaker Field doesn't completely stop all of the hand traps.
Right.
That's another thing.
Like Ghost Reaper in particular is one you want because it doesn't do anything about that.
Yeah. Similar with Drone Lockbird. There's a ton of cards. You got to look at the ways that players are trying to answer those hand traps. Call by the Grave, definite staple, right? But even then, cards like Cyframe Gear Gamma and Infinite Impermanence don't get answered by Call by the Grave. Similar situation with Midbreaker Field. You have cards like Drone Lockbird, Ghost Reaper Winter Cherries, once again being all-star. Then Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. You still have Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Even Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit's fine against that one. Being able to just destroy the Aqua Dolphin and removing that normal summon from the game is pretty important.
Can you use Ghost Ogre against Magical Midbreaker Field?
No, you can't.
No, they use it against Aqua Dolphin.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, yes.
That's the interesting thing with Aqua Dolphin is the whole checking the attack points.
Yeah.
Such a bizarre effect. It's one of those things that back when it came out in, Power of the Duelist? I think Power of the Duelist was when the Neospatians showed up, Season 2 of GX. That's one of those effects that you look at and you say, when is this ever going to be useful? It's just so strange.
Yeah.
But it's a card ahead of its time, really.
Definitely.
It came from space.
Okay, so I'm just being told that we're getting ready to go now.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so we're almost there. So let's go back to the predictions. What did we say? So
I went Charlie.
You had Charlie. Well, let's do it.
Oh, we got the blue?
I am
let's
blue.
Kick my blue over.
Here we go.
Where is
this
it?
One's your one. I'm going with this one.
Okay, we're going with blue.
You're on red, and you're on blue. Sounds
I'm on
good.
red.
One thing I love about the Neospatians is how powerful some of them have been in certain formats, right? This is a big one for Aqua Dolphin. If you remember Rescue Cat, Neospatian Dark Panther was just the bane of some players' existence.
Yeah.
Especially Blackwing. If you ever left up a Dark Arm Dragon and your opponent was able to Rescue Cat into Neospatian Dark Panther to copy that effect, immediate blowout.
And that's old Rescue Cat, the one that doesn't negate the effects.
Right, yes. And the same thing with against Gladiator Beast, being able to copy things like Prisma. I remember Rescue Cat into Dark Panther plus Test Tiger was huge. And Neospatian Grand Mole was also huge for a very long time in slower formats where you needed to set monsters, being able to bounce it back and set your opponent back full turn. Devastating.
Speaking of Grand Mole, we've got a new fusion coming out that involves Grand Mole in, just a few weeks.
Yep, in the 2018 Megatins, the Jadentin has a brand new fusion, Elemental Hero Nebula Neos.
Neos it's a pretty good card. It does in fact let you fill up your hand a little bit when you play it. We'll leave the particulars of that later, but I will tell you that it is an on-summon effect that helps you fill up your hand.
Yeah.
So I've just seen here that Kai Heidinger won the dice roll.
Okay.
With a 9 to a 7.
All right.
And he's chosen to go first.
All right. then it looks like we are just about ready to go. I see opening hands being drawn.
Okay, so we are there. It's time to crown a new champion, the Dragon Duel World Champion for 2018. Will it be Charlie Futch III from the US
start the
or
first
Kai
match.
Heidinger from
Dragon
Germany?
Duel
Let's see.
Championship. 会場の皆さん、一緒にカウントダウンお願いします。3, 2, 1, duel!
Here we go. So, let's see who is going to be crowned the World Championships, World Champion of Dragon Duel 2018. Charlie Futch has brought along his field center card there, which I'm a big fan of.
All right, here we go.
Up strong.
It's on in Chiba with Junk Forward and Marauding Captain.
Yep, accelerates 3 monsters on the field, but there, immediately out of the gate.
Ghost Ogre, but he's got called by the grave. He's got it.
He's got the call by the grave. He's going to show the Isolade, but immediately Kai's going to drop the call by the grave.
Interesting note, you don't reveal Isolde until it resolves.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is either a procedural error or a huge mistake by Heidinger, and it looks like it's a procedural error. Since Isolde...
Wow, that's huge. That's a huge start.
That is big.
Yeah, we were talking about cards that answer these particular turn 0 interaction items. Call by the grave the best.
It is indeed. So, Charlie's needing another one. One thing to note, though, is that Heidinger had to use Octastretch right there.
Yes.
So, if he probably does have another one in his deck. I do believe that is the case.
Indeed, yeah. So as long as he didn't draw it, he'll still be able to use the effective Isolde, sending the Divine Sword to special summon it. He could also send both equip spells to special summon the Headbat.
Which he just added to his hand.
Right, so that means he definitely still has the Octastretch in his deck.
Yeah.
The one thing is, though, he's basically losing out on one Surge because he already had to use Octastretch's effect here.
Right, but because he was able to accelerate an additional monster onto the field thanks to Junk Forward and Marauding Captain, I don't think it's going to matter.
It helps make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this deck's all about. Being able to put just a number of materials onto the board to be able to make Isolade and then follow up with the rest.
Oh! Follows up with Impermanence on the second effective Isolde.
Okay, so here's the question. Did that Junk Forward Marauding Captain make enough materials?
It's definitely looking a bit rough.
I don't know, Heidinger did not search rematch, did he?
No. He already has a copy in his hand.
He already has one in.
Yeah, that's why.
All right.
But without a Goki on the field, he still can't use Headbat. All he has is a Octastretch in the graveyard, correct?
That's right. He doesn't have the, he doesn't have a second Goki either.
Yeah.
So he's out. He's out of gas.
Yes.
Interesting
It just depends
start
on the rest of his hand, though. If he has that Spell Striker, for example, he could push forward more, summon an Invoker, get another Goki from his deck, put those 2 monsters in the graveyard, and keep comboing off. But it looks like he might have...
I don't think he can because he added Suprex to his hand with Isolde. So he can't summon
you're right.
a Suprex. That's the only one.
Okay, well, the Charlie Futch, he had to use 2 cards out of his hand there to be able to stop Kai Heidinger's combo. So
after that, it only takes 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with 4 cards after he draws for turn going second.
He already activated both effects of Isolde, and they are both hard once per turn.
It looks like Futch is trying to explain that to his opponent, that the effect has to be negated at activation.
The activation must be negated.
Yes.
Yes. And Charlie is 100% right. He has used both effects of Isolde, and he has made a useless Link Summon. That's one of those things that's easy to forget. How many parts of the effect, how many effects on the card are once per turn?
Right.
And in Isolde's case, it's both. So Heidinger is out both of his Isoldes without Ghost Reaper even needing to resolve.
Yeah. Charlie is jamming through his phases, and he has Speed Warrior Takata on board. Probably the best start in the whole Goki deck. Single card gets you immediate rank 3 without a normal summon.
And he didn't draw the Tekenneborg, so he gets the full value out of that Terror Top.
Yep.
Good start. Multiple pieces of interaction on the first turn. A rank 3. And Heidinger, he's got... I don't think he has anything else. I only saw spells and the cards he searched.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
So
goes very well for Futch.
Indeed. Despite losing the die roll, Charlie Futch is able to break serve. and take this back.
Yeah, does Heidinger have 3 cards left in hand? Let's see. He searched.
Search
no, he has.
and Suprex.
Right, and we know he has rematch.
Yes.
So that's probably the 3.
So I don't believe that Heidinger has anything to say about this.
I don't think so either.
At this point, it's a matter, I believe, of just trying to win the duel outright.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to give Heidinger another turn.
Indeed.
Yeah. While his hand isn't good enough to break an extra link, right? It could just be 1 card away from doing something. When you have the opportunity in the duel, you have to, especially with these combo decks.
Yeah, especially in the finals.
Take it. Yeah.
You have to put them away right now.
He's still got to get through this isolate of Kai's, though.
Indeed he does.
Yeah, you're able to Isol during your, excuse me, Nightmare Cerebrus during the combo, right? You can easily summon that monster.
Cerberus needs to take 1 in the main monster zone, does it not?
Oh, maybe. I
Special
remember it's a
summon
special summon
monster
monster
in the main monster zone?
Heck,
While we're checking on this, Kai is taking a look through his own extra deck.
main monster zone, but I guess you also have cards like Firewall Dragon, right, and Nightmare Unicorn if you're able to go that far. Even actually Trigate Wizard.
Trigate was
Yeah, there's so many cards to get rid of it.
But in Trigate's case, I wonder if you banish it or just attack for the double damage.
You're right.
You might actually get more out of it that way.
Right.
A tricky Trigate Wizard.
Yep.
Isolde's effect pays the cost with Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. Pays the cost with. Well, that's an ironic phrase considering the huge number of free cards that thing gets you.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to pay the cost quite a bit with these nightmares, but Sword just keeps on coming back.
You can't see it, but there's massive air quotes around pay the cost.
Yeah.
My favorite pay the cost was definitely Genix Undine.
Yeah, Genix Undine was a strange one.
Pay the cost.
Well, the cost there is putting Genix Controller in your deck, really.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Brilliant Fusion and Garnet. RA Scorpio and Goki rematch are now added to Charlie's hand.
Yep, he's going to activate rematch. Give back 2 Gokis. They're going to tag in. You thought they were out. You thought they were down. But they're back in business.
Kai Hedinger is certainly hoping that that is indeed the case for him.
Yeah, I think at this point, Kai is just waiting to see if he can get any more information from this.
True to its name, the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade rises from the ashes back to Fudge's hand so that he can keep on fueling these nightmare monsters.
You know what I want? I want a Divine Sword Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys Blade.
That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome.
Firewall Dragon hits the field. It's doing its thing.
Yep, so the big piece to this combo is going to be Firewall Dragon. That's what really allows you to accelerate all these monsters on the field after you've gotten a rematch and gotten the materials necessary. Every single time a monster leaves the zone that Firewall points to, Fudge is going to be able to special summon another monster from his hand, and thanks to the Gokis being able to search additional monsters every time they're sent to the graveyard, that's a lot of free summons.
Important rules note with Firewall Dragon, though. No matter how many monsters leave the zones it's pointing to at the same time, you still only get 1 trigger out of the effect. That is a question that seems to come up quite a bit. And frankly, I think Firewall Dragon's good enough just getting it once every time a monster leaves the field.
Yeah, let's be honest. We don't need to summon any more monsters. One is perfectly enough.
All right, so Charlie's got Ilia on the field there. He receives his deck back from the judges. We are using the same procedures as earlier in the day today, so the judges are doing the final shuffling. Unfortunately, they're doing it off scene, Luke, so I'm afraid you can't admire their technique.
No, it's a real shame. I've been keeping it quiet because I usually get ridiculed, but I hear you guys, you're also a fan of shuffling, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I was shuffling a bit when DJ Yummy was on.
Oh,
yeah. Kind of shuffling.
That sort of shuffling, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just try to make more draw cards than search cards, so we shuffle less.
Yeah, better keep that on the download then. I'm a huge fan of the way people shuffle. Always tells something about their character. And we've seen plenty of shuffling from all of our duelists here at the World Championships.
All right, so Nightmare Goblin.
Looks like they're trying to figure out how the chain links were ordered and when Fudge is supposed to draw that card.
In fact, this is exactly what got Charlie in trouble yesterday.
Yeah.
So I found the resolution to our thing about Firewall Dragon not being able to do its thing earlier, and it was a case of his opponent pointed at his cards and, basically pointed at them in a bad way, so that it would be so that Ibli would be on the field first because of Mermaid, and he could then not summon from hand with Fireball Dragons. You can only special summon Link monsters.
Right.
In that case. And this is why you should actually just never let your opponent do that. Don't let them tell you what your play is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think he needs this draw off of this Goblin anyway. He's probably got enough materials on the field.
No, but this could be a case of Kai trying to get him a penalty, so that it could possibly be upgraded later in the match.
It could be right. Yep. So Charlie's going to use the effective Firewall Dragon to bounce away his opponent's Isolde, as well as add back Ibli from his graveyard. That way he can normal summon it using the additional summon from the Nightmare Goblin and bring back the second copy of Nightmare Goblin.
So now it's a race to 8,000. He's got 25 and 1,000 with the monsters in that column. He's got a Nightmare Goblin co-linked, which will have 1,300. So 1,000, 1,300 is 23 plus 25 is 48. He's nowhere close to enough quite yet.
There's a bit more to be done yet, though.
Indeed. Charlie thinking on his next extra deck summon.
To be clear for our viewers at home, the World Championships duelists are encouraged to see the match out to the end. So that's why, a lot of you may be screaming at your screens right now. Kai should be moving on to the next game, but yeah, that's the reason why.
But as you could see before, just like with that Fireball Dragon there, it's entirely possible that Hutch will make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Even here, he was a little bit uncertain about what he wanted to link away. It looked like he was going to get rid of that Firewall Dragon, but he links away for Borlo Dragon, and I also saw a single card in his hand. He might just have Monster Reborn to really seal the deal. Gonna special summon Octo Stretch off of the effective Firewall Dragon. Link it away for Link Karibo.
So he's at 3,000. Oh, there is Monster Reborn. Yeah. There it is. So he's got 3,000 and 13 and 25 and 1,000. 55, 65, 68. And Scorpio, even with the minus 1,000, is still going to be enough. Attack number one.
Do some quick math here, but the writing is definitely on the wall for Heidegger.
Firewall Dragon connects. Nightmare Mermaid connects. That's another 1,000. Heidegger is telling him what his own cards do. Charlie knows. He also does not care. He is continuing to attack.
Yeah, I think the Mermaid is making them lose attack points.
That's correct. It does not matter, however, and Heidegger loses all of his life points in one shot.
Yep, as you see them trickle all the way down from 8,000 to 0.
It's still going.
Yeah, Fudge delivers the turn 1 Goki Smackdown. First duel of the Dragon Duel World Championship.
Yeah, and that's a really tough start for Heidegger.
Yeah.
When you've got your combo and you've got the Call by the Grave to stop your opponent's hand trap, and then they just have another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really is a backbreaker.
Yeah.
And indeed, Charlie had his own combo as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about before the match, right? The odds of drawing 2 hand traps and how important that is against Goki, because they typically can push through one, whether it be by Call by the Grave, additional combo cards, or what have you.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That was amazing. And you shouldn't take anything away from Charlie there. He had the cards, but he was able to perform the combo as well.
Yeah.
That was a very complicated combo to be able to perform, especially on such a huge stage.
And we saw that Borlo Dragon as well, something that many of the Goki players are just cutting completely.
Yeah.
But it got him some key extra damage there. It's probably the biggest monster in his extra deck.
Right.
I think it is, by far.
Likely so.
Yep, looks like it to me.
I think that's why he was initially considering linking away the Firewall Dragon to Monster Reborn and back, because that would have been the most damage he could have put on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Then he realized, oh wait, I'm playing the Borlo Dragon.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, we see some of both
Playmakers and Revolver's key cards coming out in the Goki deck that duel.
Indeed, working together even.
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they were old foes in that secret project. But if you want to hear more about that, you really ought to be watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns. It's an excellent
amazing.
series.
It
Yes.
really is.
Very good.
Yes, that's one big reason why I'm so excited for the main event.
Indeed.
Finals. Yeah, we got a Ghost Girl deck against Blue Angel.
Indeed.
Two of the most popular characters, two of the coolest decks to watch play.
And I was looking to see, is anybody talking about the World Championship? What do they think about the final match? And I did see some fan art basically splicing together images to show them dueling against each other, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
So it seems that the fans are pretty into it.
Yeah. I mean,
as well.
I'm pretty into it. I can't wait to see that duel.
I think Blue Angel might have a bit of an advantage in this case because we are like smack in the middle of Idol Mania right now. There's one group performing at the baseball stadium. There's another one in this building, just a few blocks away.
Yeah.
In this very large convention center as well. And then we have Trickstars in the finals too.
It's clearly pop weekend.
So we've got the choices have been made for the side decks. So let's take a look at that.
Yep.
So Heidinger has his Reapers and Winter Cherries in the side deck. I do believe he's going to try to give Charlie a taste of his own medicine on that one.
Indeed.
Along with his Infinite Impermanences. Actually, no, he gets to go first, doesn't he? That's right.
Yes.
Despite starting so well, he did not win that match. So he does get to go first.
Yeah, so I don't think there's much that he's going to put into
Yeah.
Felicity. It's
Yeah, these decks are built to go first. So
Yes.
while he did go second in that duel, we saw him basically turn behind. Oh no, he went first in the first.
He went
right?
first,
Yeah,
yeah,
even
yes.
with
Win.
Call by the Grave got beat out. Yeah, that is.
It's so
shows the
strange that
Yeah.
we can't even believe it still.
incredible.
So Charlie, though, he can get even more hand traps in. He's
Yes,
got those
yeah.
gammas.
Yep, full suite of gammas. He's got a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit even.
Yeah.
We'll probably see both those coming in. The rest of these cards are for either going first or battling the back row strategies, the more control strategies, trying to interact with those spells and trap cards.
Yeah, I think that might be what that second rematch is for. Because if you're trying to just combo off, you only ever need one.
yeah, exactly.
But if you got to grind through a bunch of traps, that sort of thing, then you might need the second one.
Yeah, we saw Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion make a huge breakout performance in this tournament, and I think that could be one reason to play the additional copy of rematch as well.
That is
Kai
true.
once again starting with junk forward.
Oh, wow. It does look like we are indeed ready. And Kai is right out of the gate.
Got a bit excited there, sorry. Sorry, live stream. Okay. Kai starting once again with junk forward.
All right.
Let's see if Charlie's face is saying to me, I don't got anything.
I don't know. I think that's just normally.
Okay.
It looks like Heidinger is looking for a translation of a card. Looks like in Akihabara this weekend he might have picked up some sweet Japanese foil versions of some of these cards, but unfortunately does not help him when he's trying to figure out what the card effects are.
Interesting.
It's probably just one small aspect of a card, something like the full effect of Headbat or something that might not come up too often.
Yeah, it's one of those things that people forget about quite a bit is that you need the Goki on the field already.
Yeah.
Like, Headbat isn't there just to be a free special summon. It's supposed to be boosting up the attack points of your monster. And the special summon is just a bonus. But these Goki cards are not quite being used in the way that Go Onizuka would do so.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
do think you would approve of that last duel. Like, looking like
the
you're on the ropes
the-
and then the big turnaround.
Yeah.
So during the main event, or rather during the rounds yesterday, the Swiss rounds, each duelist had an iPad essentially at their table that just let them look up whatever cards they wanted to
Yeah, exactly.
see what the things are. So right now, that's basically where we are. Is instead of the iPad being there for the players, it's being held right next to
By
the
the
players.
judges, yeah.
And that's just something that happens in international competition. You
Yeah.
need translation. That's just how it is. And I know you know more about this really than anybody.
Yeah, I must say the European YCSs, I played one in one myself, and even when there are cards that you think you know what they do, you don't really know the exact text of cards. You just know roughly kind of what they do, you know. So sometimes you get it into your head, especially in a critical situation,
Oh my goodness.
Just need to check for a translation.
So we got an instant fusion for Dragoness, and Charlie once again has the Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. It does not target. Reeling is not a cost.
Yeah.
There is no target. Heidinger has the call by the game again. And Charlie is arguing, hey, you told me to reveal. So Called by the Grave targets a monster in the graveyard and banishes it. And then the effects of that monster and the activated effects of monsters with the same name as that card are negated for the rest of the turn.
So, yeah, we have a ruling dispute here about exactly where the card is being revealed, and
indeed, and it seems that
play Called by the Grave.
Yeah, it seems that Asher is right there on the scene, at the table to take the judge call, and his ruling is when you asked him what you were revealing for it, you were passing your ability to chain to it, and that is the right call. This is part of why it's very important not to use the incorrect terminology when you're talking about cards. So basically, Kai asked him for a target. Card does not target. It just reveals something at resolution. And as a result, Charlie said, okay, here's what I'm using. And kind of lost his chance to chain.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those situations where,
that's stage lights.
Yeah,
that's stage lights every time.
Kai's first language is not English. So it's hard to say whether it was a misstep on kind of, within the realms of him making that misstep, or whether he just, didn't know the right word to say to, to proceed in the game.
Interesting.
It's hard to say, but, I just say there are a lot of big lights, and
I'm pretty sure that's lights, especially after the first game. Happening.
It just makes me think, because he was able to perfectly use Call by the Grave the first time around, that,
Yeah, but we saw something similar happen in the first duel, right? Where Charlie revealed the card, and then Heidinger actually responded with it. Miscommunication on when he's supposed to reveal.
Yeah, that first one was Charlie's fault, though. Like, Charlie activated it and just immediately flipped it without asking for a chain.
It's surprising, then, that the judges didn't step in there and explain it fully, of how that interaction should have gone down.
Probably because it wound up being the correct result in the end there.
Yeah.
Generally, though, they are there to observe and not necessarily butt in unless asked.
Right. Yeah.
So Heidinger is going to do the best he can without Isolde. And, well, we'll see. One of the skills of these combo decks is being able to play it when you lose one of your key pieces like this.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can navigate it.
Yeah, he seems to have a bunch of monsters, which is always what you want to see in Goki.
And he's got the Nightmare Corruptor Ibli right there. Doesn't do a whole lot other than stop your special summons while she's on the field. But when normal summoned, you can special summon the Nightmare from your graveyard pointing to her.
Yeah, it's interesting how we're going to see Heidinger try to navigate this one. That Call by the Grave is going to be used more as a piece of interaction during the opponent's turn now, rather than a way to push through his own combo this turn.
Yeah, that's right. They can take out a Goki. It's a little rough though, because he now, Charlie now knows that it's there.
Yes.
Yeah. Still, is it really that easy to play around, Call by the Grave?
Call by the Grave? No. It's not the easiest card to play around because it's a quick play spell. And we see that Heidinger's gotten to a Phoenix and a Cerberus. And he gave him Ibli. That's very interesting. I wonder what he's going to do with that. Or why he gave it to him. Does it really help you in this case?
I don't think so. I think that because of how flustered he was after that interaction with Ghost Reaper and Call by the Grave, he's just trying to work it out as best he can, given the situation.
It could be a case of, well, if you can't get a second warrior on the field because you can't special summon it, you can't get to your Isolde. So that could be the angle here. Charlie's up. Heidegger's monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Yeah, I guess Sibley doesn't help at all because it just turns into Mermaid.
Looks like he's going to tribute it away for... Oh, Link summoned it away for...
Just Mermaid.
Yeah. Charlie's thinking about whether or not he's going to use the effect of Nightmare Mermaid here.
It's tough because getting the material is nice, but not being able to special summon warriors is less nice.
Yeah.
Doing a little bit of math. It's a high pressure situation right there.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. He's a match point away.
He's thinking about it.
Yep.
He's thinking about it. And he activates.
Yep. He's going to discard junk forward. Special summon Italy from his deck.
You think that was the right play to use the Mermaid's effect?
He might be trying to make, what do you think, Phoenix here to deal with the Call by the Grave? Is that why? Or what do you think, Jerome?
Hey, is it set? Oh, yeah, that is
it's set in the far left.
That's probably what it's going to be. He needs one more monster for that, and he hasn't used his normal summon. But, I mean, all he's really doing in this case is forcing out the Call by the Grave.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, but is he losing too much to force out this Call by the Grave, do you think?
It really just depends on the rest of his hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, especially if he has an accelerant. Oh, no effect on Googie Suprex because of the Italy. And right here, he can just Call by the Grave the Suprex anyway. Just going to get Cerberus. Heidegger lets it through, which is interesting.
Strange. Surely you would just Call by the Grave it because it's going to be his last chance.
Oh, you know, maybe he wants to take out a target from rematch.
That could be true.
Well, he would also do that by hitting a Super Exit there, right?
No, because he might
later on.
Yeah. He wants to chain it to that so that he can't just fill his grave with more Gokis and just do Super X that way. Nightmare Cerberus, unfortunately for Charlie, cannot target either of those monsters.
Right.
He actually had a situation exactly like that in the finals of his WCQ in North America this year, where he summoned it and then tried to target an untargetable set of nightmare monsters.
Well, hopefully he's learned his lesson this time now that he's on the World Championship stage. One game away from being crowned.
It's tough. This is where you got to tighten up the most.
Yeah.
Now he links away both nightmares. Is he going for... Yeah. He's going for a unicorn.
Looks like it.
And he targets the set card. And he's going to take a look.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think this is better than just summoning the Phoenix rather than the Cerberus and doing it then?
You know, I don't think so. I think I would have done the Phoenix. But he might have plans for that Phoenix later on that we just don't know about.
Could be true. Heidegger clarifying how many cards Fudge has left and whether or not he's normal summon this turn.
And he takes out Bear Hug. Definitely the right one in this case.
Yep.
That's the one that has not used its effect yet.
Maybe Fudge might be just filling his graveyard for, Living Pulse. I was going to say Soul Charge.
Huh.
The Dapper Dinosaur rears his head again.
And use it for junk forward. And he's Instant Fusion next.
This is going to give him access to MX Saber Invoker after he Xyz summons away these two level 3 monsters.
It's Xyz material, so it is not banished. And now we get another Super X from the deck, and that is the one that he's already used the effect of.
Yes.
Comes out in defense, of course, but he's linking it away anyways. And Luke, I see you getting some statistics over there. What do you got?
I'm just, I was trying to figure out if I could get the Dragon Duel statistics.
Ah, okay.
He's going to activate the effect of Isolde now.
But it's not going to give us much because they're both playing Goki.
Yeah, that's true.
Goki's definitely going to win against Goki.
I think you're right.
I'm glad you're here. We needed a stats man for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
What can I say? 100% of the time, the mirror match is going to win 50% of the time. It's important.
So Isolde, multiple effects here. I don't believe we've seen much of a glimpse of Kai's hand other than the called by the grave a bit earlier. So not sure what he might have in the way of interaction. What he does have in his deck, it's things like Droll and Lockbird, Ash Blossom. He may or may not have put in Ghost Reapers, but we're assuming that he did not since he's going first.
Right.
This one's combo pieces.
So Charlie has been able to work his way through this. He managed to get rid of that call by the grave, and now he's been able to use his Isolde, which is usually where the big Goki combo starts.
And it goes through. Not doing any shuffling quite yet. Still many searches to follow. Because of the co-link status of Heidinger's monsters, well, they can't be targeted by nightmares, so Phoenix wouldn't be able to draw, or Cerberus wouldn't be able to draw.
Bit of a difficult situation, even with all the cards that Charlie has here, to break up that board of Kai's.
What he could do is he could get that as Borreload.
Yeah, he could go back to that Borreload Dragon again. That would certainly help out.
And he has to use the Assault here because he doesn't have an open zone otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
Does he use the Unicorn? Maybe he uses the Unicorn.
He could.
Use the Unicorn to switch extra monster zones. No, goes all three.
Interesting choice.
For the Borreload.
That's a hell of a lot of material.
Borreload.
Yeah.
Because that's the non-targeting, non-destructive out that he has to Heidinger's field. He certainly can.
Yeah, Isolde for 2.
Isolde's 2. Unicorn's 1. And Octastretch is 1.
Yeah. So he's counting up. Isolde's counting as 2.
Yeah.
Unicorn is 1. And his last monster is a single link material.
So this seems like this is a really strong argument for playing the Borreload in your
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We were talking about this yesterday, just how strong Borreload Dragon is, just as a standalone piece of tech.
It really is. Like, the best answer to Borreload is another Borreload.
Yeah.
So everybody needs a Borreload.
Yeah.
And if you don't have yours yet, you'll have a chance to get it in the Mega Packs in this year's Mega Tins.
Yep.
A little later on. 3 matches search, and it comes down bringing back Octastretch and Suprex. Duelists tied at 7,000, each dropping 1,000 for instant fusion.
Charlie, once again, is going to link away some of his monsters to summon the Phoenix.
There's the Phoenix with 1,900 attack points. Borreload is going to take the other Nightmare Phoenix. Takes control of the Nightmare Phoenix there. He can't target for the minus 500 until just now that they are no longer co-linked. So Cerberus goes down to 1,100 and gets hit for 8.
Yep, duel's clarifying 800 damage there.
Yep, and that Phoenix is going to go through unimpeded.
That's 1,900 more. And then the big bad Borreload cannot attack because it already did to steal the monster. It's a very unique way of taking monsters.
Yeah.
Most of it's done in the main phase, but Borreload does it in battle.
Yeah, certainly one of my favorite link monsters is Borreload Dragon.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it as well.
Being able to take stuff is just always nice.
All of the Borreload monsters are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got that new one just came out, and Borreload
Sword Dragon is by far my favorite. That one is so powerful.
It's pretty big over here in Japan. Why don't you tell them about it?
Yeah, so Borreload Dragon is an interesting monster because it can be used both offensively and defensively, but primarily offensively.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a sword, you know.
Indeed.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the way the life points are counting down here.
the slow drain.
Yeah, they're just...
Get the anime sound effects in.
Oh, I didn't actually know how far he was going to go down. I said beep just as it finished.
rolling health is an interesting mechanic. You see that in some other games from time to time.
Yeah.
No rolling health mechanic here. Hiding your, if he goes to 0, he goes to 0, no matter how long it takes.
Yeah. I should have just rolled with that. I should have just been pretending like I knew it was going to happen and I beeped at the right time.
And it's bad times for Kai as he's forced to just set a monster and pass.
Yeah, Kai's not had a really good run during this particular matchup.
And he had a kind of a marathon match in his semifinals against Kim from Korea.
Yeah.
That match went very, very long.
Oh yeah, I saw that against Altergeist.
A lot of translation required and a lot of complex situations, and it went close to 30 minutes past time with extensions. So that's exhausting. And to have to come back here and play one more against an opponent who might be fresher, that's tough.
Here we go. So Charlie Futch III is your Dragon
Big smile from
World
Futch.
Champion.
Incredible.
So Charlie Futch from the US taking championship.
As the life points are rolling down on the screen.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Dragon Duel Champion from the USA, Charlie Futch III! Congratulations! Charlie, please say a few words about your victory!
I had a lot of fun. とても楽しかったです。ありがとうございました。
素晴らしい試合を見せてくれた選手にもう一度拍手をお願いします。選手退場です。Please return to your waiting room.
New champion, Charlie Futch III from the United States of America. Condolences to Kai Heidinger, who put up a good showing at the tournament, but alas,
just one win short.
One win short.
So Charlie, he saw his good friend do it last year. He's done it himself this year. But next year, Charlie's going to be on his own at the World Championship. Ryan, unfortunately, was unable to make it to the finals this time around.
Yeah, got a rough 9th place finish. Yeah. One spot away from the top 10.
9th always feels real bad.
Yeah, but for a Dragon Duels who just aged out into the main event to get 9th the next year.
That's such a strong finish.
Yes, yeah. Really I think the only one who's done better is Oliver Tomiko. right?
Because he made it to, what, semifinals?
I believe so.
Semifinals before losing to the eventual champion in Rimini.
Yep.
So this means that Charlie Futch is going to do exactly what we saw Ryan Yu do this year, because it's his last year of eligibility in the Dragon Duel. So he's going to go up into the main event next year, being the winner, of course, who are invited back for next year's World Championship.
And he's starting that streak of consecutive World Championship appearances. I know Shunsuke had 4, and Gali has, consecutive. Shunsuke had 4. Yeah, did he not?
Yeah,
I think so.
Paul,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. It started.
Gali was also 4 this year. This is 4th this year.
Not consecutive, though.
No, not consecutive.
So Charlie's at 3 consecutive right now, and he could try to make it 4 with a win next year in the main event.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that was it for the Dragon Duel. Upcoming, we have the Duel Links World Championship Final, where our partners, co-commentators, whatever you
the
like
other
to call
team
them,
will take it over. We have Billy Brake, Michael Kohanem, and the one and only Oliver Wyman, voice actor for Aster Phoenix, Neospatian Aquadolphin, and many more.
Yeah. So, with that, we'll see you guys very soon for the TCG World Championships. But up first is the Duel Links. Catch you soon.
Júnior Silva, 24. Recife, Brasil. Foi muito difícil chegar no Mundial e chegar aqui, enfrentar os melhores e conseguir me sair bem foi muito gratificante para mim. O meu plano é cometer o menor número de erros possíveis, se possível nenhum. Eu acho que esse sempre é o segredo e foi assim que eu cheguei ao top 4. Com certeza, consigo.
浜田貴弘と申します。ユーザー名はあれ丸とやっております。神奈川ですね。タックフォース6やタックフォーススペシャルといったゲームをやっておりました。常にこういうデッキに対してこういう負け筋がある、こういう勝ち筋がある。だからその負け筋勝ち筋を取っていたり潰していったりっていったことは意識してプレイしております。今回の WCS に向けていろいろとデッキの調整を手伝ってくださった方々本当にありがとうございました。本当頑張ります。
The second match, Duel Links. On the blue side, from Brazil, Junior Silva. On the red side, from Japan, Takahiro Hamada.第2試合 Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Duel Links 開始いたします。
Hello, everybody in Duel World. Ollie Wyman here, back once again with my stalwart companions, Michael Kohanem and Billy Brake, who I must point out are two of the world's greatest authorities on this game and two of the world's greatest duelists in their own right. I am not one of the world's greatest duelists, however, I do play one on TV. In fact, two. I play Aster Phoenix and, of course, Siegfried von Schroeder, the evil CEO of Schroeder Corporation, which is actually a very efficient corporation. It's very well run, I might add. But we're here for the Duel Links 2018 finals. It's unbelievable. This is the most amazing spectacle. I'm sure you've been watching. But we have a very important announcement, and I'm going to hand things over to Billy Brake now to let you know what's going on.
There is something going on in Duel Links app that you're going to be able to start doing right now as the Duel Links Worlds is finalizing. But before we get to that, let's just get excited for this match. We're about to, here we go, the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Appreciation Campaign. This is your chance to obtain special prizes, such as the Ultimate Prize, where you can get all 5 decks of the champion of the WCS 2018 Duel Links division. So that means you'll get every card that is in all 5 of their decks. Only one lucky person will be able to win that. But make sure you enter and sign up and apply by August 31st, 2018. You have until then to sign up, and one lucky person will get all that. But there's a lot of stuff for everyone else who signs up, all the way down to just 300 gems, 3,000 gems, and many other things you can win. I'm very excited. I know I'm going to sign up as soon as this is over.
Absolutely. That starts right now. Is that correct?
Right now. Go ahead and log into Duel Links, and you should be able to apply for the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Appreciation Campaign. But enough of that. We're going to get into the action here pretty soon of the finals. We have Junior Silva against Takahiro Hamada. Who do you think is going to win, Mike?
It's a tough one. Hamada, I believe Hamada had a stronger record yesterday, and he does have, I believe, stronger decks, in my personal opinion. So I would.
You're going the red side
on him.
I do believe he's playing an Aster deck, so I have to give credit to him. Anybody who plays Destiny Heroes has an advantage.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and take the blue side then. I'm going to be on Induzap Junior Silva's side. I'm excited to see this finals matchup. We have a lot of decks here. So for those of you who are here maybe for the TCG, not familiar with how the Duel Links format works, each player does have 5 decks, and it is a best of 5. So we're gonna see 3 games. The first player to win 3 games does win the match. You have 3 standard decks along with 2 legendary decks. Standard decks are, you can play anything you want as long as you have only 3 copies of each card amongst all the decks. But the 2 legendary decks, depending on which character you play, you have to use a select list of dual skills and then required cards, such as Azure Phoenix. He's required to use 2 copies of Destiny Hero Plasma in the deck, alongside the optional cards such as Destiny Hero Diamond Dude and stuff that you include in. So you have to find a way to win with those characters and their awesome dual skills, and we get to see what cards are actually good from those characters. So that's a little bit of diversity.
This tournament was a great test of the duelist deck building skills. In the qualifier tournaments, players were allowed to use 1 deck to carry them through it in an effort to qualify for this event. But once they got here, they were forced to really put those skills to the test and forced to build 5 decks.
5, you have 5 completely different decks. And something else that I might not have mentioned is that if say there's only 3 copies of Paleozoic Canada, you have to spread those copies throughout all 5 decks. You can't use 3 Canada in every single deck you have. It has to be 1, 1, 1, or maybe you just have 1 deck that has all 3 copies. So it definitely adds another dynamic to building your deck.
Right, and that definitely created for an interesting tournament, and we have a lot of different decks in the tournament. Yeah. Or we had a lot of different decks in the tournament. We're down to just 2 players.
Just 2 players.
Respective 5 decks.
But that is a card we saw a lot of.
Paleozoic Canadian. That's why I use it as the example. Very popular.
And enemy controller, of course.
Enemy controller. Yeah, being semi-limited, you can only use 2 across all 5 decks. But definitely 2 enemy controllers in everybody's deck, I think, that entered this tournament. But yeah, after all the players competing, these are the last 2. One of them will be crowned the 2018 Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links World Championship. Japan versus Brazil. Red versus blue. So it looks like we're waiting to get the first game underway. The first game is going to be between their 2 standard decks. So each player has 3 standard decks to pick from. It looks like Junior's decks are Seto Kaiba Beatdown for hire, Bandit Keith Switcheroo Spellbooks, and then we also have Yamayugi Balanced Noble Knights.
Here we go.
Looks like we are about to start the game.
Match Duel Links Championship. 会場の皆さん、一緒にカウントダウンお願いします。3秒前からいきますよ。せーの。3, 2, 1, duel!
So here we're back, both players are in the duel room, both players are sitting down at the table in the duel room, they're clicking, let's begin. So it looks like we are going to have Odeon versus Bandit Keith, so we're going to see, from Junior, we're going to see Spellbooks here with Switcheroo. Switcheroo, a special duel skill that anytime you've taken 1,000 points of damage at any point in the game, you can activate that skill to take a card from your hand and shuffle it back in your deck and draw a new one. Which is really important to have in like a spellbook deck because just one card is all you need to get things going.
And in his deck, he can also send back Silent Magician level 8 if he draws it to put it back in the deck and get a replacement card. That ability can be used once per turn and twice per duel.
So yeah, we see us start off with a normal summon Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, which is exactly what you want. He's going to go ahead and get the Spellbook of the Master. We also have a Spellbook of Secrets getting Spellbook of Organization. We'll probably see a Spellbook of the Master coming down, revealing that Spellbook of Organization he just had in his hand. Search his deck for a Spellbook of Fate. Spellbooks are all about having just a Spellbook of Fate set every single turn and loading up their graveyard with 3 Spellbooks so they can banish all 3 to banish any card that their opponent controls. So that's why you see cards like Spellbook of the Organization being played, because there's a quick play Spellbook card that you can just activate, get a somewhat valuable effect of rearranging the top 3 cards of your deck while filling up your graveyard, fueling that Spellbook of Fate. So it's safe to assume in Spellbooks that he has a Spellbook of Fate, Spellbook of Organization down, and if I had to guess what the other one was, I would guess maybe a Spellbook of Eternity, because that's the one you're going to want to activate on the following turn. The Spellbook of Fate banishes the Spellbook, the Spellbook of Eternity adds back the Spellbook. But it looks like we do have an Amazoness Princess coming down for Hamada.
Hamada's using Amazonesses. He starts off with Princess, which is exactly where that deck wants to be on the first turn. He summons it, activates its effect to add an Amazoness spell or trap card from his deck to his hand. It looks like Silva is chaining his Spellbook Organization to rearrange the top 3 cards of his deck.
Like I said, he'll be doing that just so he has that 3rd Spellbook in there. It's important to have it in there because as soon as he enters that battle phase, he wants to have it so he can banish the Amazoness Princess possibly. There's 2 ways to kind of go about this matchup with Spellbooks versus Amazoness. You can either take your time banishing all their monsters from their hand, which case he might do here since he has 3 spell and trap cards, or you can make sure to try and banish both copies of Amazoness Onslaught, because the Amazoness Onslaught is what's going to give the Spellbook player a lot of problems if he's able to get Silent Magician to the field.
So Amazoness Onslaught is semi-limited, so there's only 2 of them that you need to deal with. Hamada sets 3 cards to his back row. It's safe to assume at least one of those is the Amazoness Onslaught he searched for with his Princess. And it looks like Silva is going to use his Spellbook of Fate to banish the monster, Amazoness Princess, leaving all 3 back rows there.
so it was a set Spellbook of Secrets, which is probably going to search out that Spellbook of Eternity. But yeah, he's going to go the monster route, because even though the Amazoness player has Amazoness Onslaught, which lets him to special summon an Amazoness monster from his hand during the battle phase, he'll still only be able to summon one monster, so he'll be able to fate that one monster and keep things continuing. So
unless Amazoness Onslaught is used to special summon an additional monster during the battle phase.
Right, yeah. During his turn, he'll be banishing that monster, yep.
Right.
So he'll probably the goal here for Silva is to have a Spellbook of Fate in his hand to deal with that monster he would special summon during the battle phase, and also have a Spellbook of Fate set with enough Spellbooks in the graveyard to banish the next monster he would summon. But if Hamada is able to have 3 monsters,
he's definitely hoping to run Hamada out of monsters, and it does seem possible since Hamada did set 3 cards to his back row on that first turn, leaving only 2 cards left in his hand.
Right. So we have a Spellbook of the Master here, copying Spellbook of Secrets. A lot of times you want a Spellbook of the Master, Spellbook of Eternity to get more of those Spellbook cards that are banished from your grave back into your graveyard.
Take Spellbook Magician of Prophecy.
This is not the first matchup we've seen between Amazons and Spellbooks, correct?
Most definitely not. This is one of the classic matchups going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links right now.
And generally, how do they go?
Some people, it really depends on how the decks draw. Like Amazons do have a chance to use Spellbooks since they do have Amazon's Onslaught that are able to summon more monsters than one per turn, which is what Spellbooks can take advantage of the most, just banishing one monster per turn, and there's nothing else they can do.
Silva tributes his Spellbook Magician of Prophecy to summon Silent Magician, then summons another Spellbook Magician of Prophecy and uses its effect to add another Spellbook to his hand.
He probably summoned it here first because playing around cards like Treacherous Trapple, even though we see like a heavy trap deck, you'll definitely still have to play around Treacherous Trapple.
Silva attacks.
Was that it? Yep.
He's going to activate an Amazoness Onslaught, so he's going to try. He doesn't activate the effect upon activation, so there's no reason to activate Spellbook of Fate here because he's not supposed to summon any monsters from his hand. But here comes the Amazoness Onslaught edition, so we'll probably see a chain by Spellbook of Fate from the hand here from Silva.
Amazoness Onslaught lines up very well against Silent Magicians. It allows the Amazonesses that battle Silent Magician to banish it, preventing it from summoning Silent Magician level 8 from the deck with 3,500 attack points.
Right, so it looks like he didn't have the Spellbook of Fate in his hand, so now he's committed to the Spellbook of Fate, maybe to banish the Onslaught as opposed to monsters if there's another monster from Hamada. But there really is no good way to play around it because the Onslaught will be able to be chained to the Fate. There's never going to be an opportunity for him to banish it, so things are going heavily in Hamada's favor.
Yes, he did have the extra monster. He now has Amazon's Princess on the field as well. So I would definitely agree that his only hope here is to banish Amazon's Onslaught. And he really needs to hope that Hamada does not have a second one face down.
And we saw the Princess search the Amazoness Willpower here instead of a second copy of Onslaught, so it's not far to believe that there is another copy of Amazon's Onslaught down.
Correct.
It's going to allow him to banish that Silent Magician.
You don't need the mind scan ability to see that.
I've been playing TC for years. A lot of people ask me, like, where do I get my Millennium Eye? Like, it's inside my brain. So we got Swordswoman attacking. Here comes the Spellbook of Fate. He's going to probably try and banish that Onslaught so he can hope that the Silent Magician level 8 will come out and be enough, but I would be very surprised if I don't see another Amazoness Onslaught.
At this point, Silva is so far behind, it's really his only hope. As likely as it is that Hamada does have the second Onslaught face down, he needs to try.
Even if, and also since there are 2 Swordswomen on the field, even though he already attacked with one, but having that Silent Magician level 8 in attack mode still isn't very good because he's going to have to take 2,000 points of damage from the Swordswoman crashing in, since any damage that Swordswomen take is inflicted into the opponent instead of your own life points.
As rough as that is, he does have the life points to spare.
This is true.
Now, do people generally take healing spells if they're going to play a character that has a sacrificing power like that?
Sometimes there's certain cards that do other things on top of giving you life points, and you want to those will work together, give you combination stuff.
Hamada does in fact have the second Amazoness Onslaught. He flips it, so his Swordswoman is able to banish the Silent Magician from the duel, preventing it from summoning level 8. Looks like the second Swordswoman comes in next, banishing the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, and now Amazoness Princess attacks directly, using its effect to summon Amazoness Queen from the deck by giving up one of the Swordswomen.
Yeah, now Silva's probably wondering, man, if I just banish the Onslaught first and then had my faith for the other Onslaught, maybe the Silent Magician level 8 would have been enough, but the Swordswoman would still made it hard. So we have dual skill activation here, switcheroo, to switch a card. He's going to need a lot more than just one card, though, here to come back from that.
Shaking his head, he only has 2 cards in his hand. He uses one of them, Spellbook of Secrets. He adds his final Spellbook Magician of Prophecy to his hand, but it really looks like he's just too far behind at this point.
And even if he does somehow destroy like all the spell and traps, we see Odeon being used. See, we do see the treacherous trap hole despite having 3 trap sticks down.
Oh, he activates it now, preventing Silva from using Spellbook of the Master from his hand, since there is no spellcaster currently on his field.
This game is over.
Silva simply ends his turn, destined to be defeated by Hamada.
Face down, my trap activates.
Legendary attack, and that's gonna be it. Game 1 is over. Hamada is the winner. He's only 2 games away now from winning the 2018 Duel Links World Championship.
Wow. Yeah, Silva really bet on his opponent running out of monsters in that duel, and it did not play out in his favor.
Yeah, opening up multiple copies of Amazon's Princess definitely is just one of the best things that Amazon can do, alongside having more Speller Traps and them being the only monsters you have being Amazon's Princess. But now we have Duel 2, which is going to be great.
This is legendary, right?
That legendary deck's coming up next.
How could I lose? I have won. Despite the outcome, you should be proud of yourself.
All right, here we go.
All right, so they'll be moving on to their legendary decks.
They have to use one of their 2 legendary decks. So it looks like from Junior we have Fusion Reserve Cyrus Trudeau, a Geargia deck, which we saw a lot yesterday because the required cards are cards like Drillroid, Steamroid, which also happen to be level 4 Earth Machines, which alongside a card like Ties of the Brethren will still allow you to special summon Geargia monsters from your deck. And Geargia monsters being very powerful, as long as they're up on the field for a turn, they have an effect to flip themselves face down, flip back face up, and destroy either Speller Traps if it's Geargia Attacker, or monsters if it's Geargia Anchor, based upon how many Geargia monsters they have on the field. So all the traps like Super Rush Headlong, Pulse Mines, Widespread Ruin, we're going to see there to protect those monsters, because if Geargia monster is able to stay on the field for 1 turn, they can easily destroy every card their opponent controls.
Hamada is also piloting a Geargia deck with Cyrus Truesdale as his legendary duelist, but he is running a couple of cards differently, including Needle Sealing, and also Curse of Anubis.
Needle Sealing is actually just huge. Needle Sealing is, in the mirror match, Geargias have to have a bunch of monsters on the field. Needle Sealing, if there's 4 more monsters face up on the field, 4 more monsters on the field, it destroys all face up monsters on the field.
Yeah, looks like Silva will be using his Odeon deck with the Endless Trap Hell ability. This is an Amazonist deck, but Hamada is using the Geargia deck that we discussed earlier. So Hamada summons Geargia Anchor and uses the first turn Ties of the Brethren.
Here we go. This is the ideal opening. Even though we did see a duelist open up with this opening yesterday and still be defeated.
Yes.
But so since he paid the 2,000 life points for Ties of the Brethren, he's going to be able to add Drillroid from his deck to his hand.
It's Geargia Arsenal, Geargia Attacker, and Geargia Anchor on the field, and sets a card to his back row. Silva does open with the Amazoness Princess, so that is certainly an ideal opening for him. But I believe Hamada's ideal opening is quite stronger. Princess attacks Geargia Anchor, uses his effect. He sends a swordswoman from his hand to his graveyard to special summon Amazoness Queen, making it so his monsters can't be destroyed in battle, and he loses 600 life points in the exchange. But Geargia Attacker flips face down and uses its effect. He flips it up. He's able to now destroy 2 Speller Trap cards on the field. Silva's going to need something like a Treacherous Crap Hole to try to stop that. Instead, he just loses out on both of his face down cards. Amazoness Onslaught's effect activates when it's destroyed, allowing him to special summon the Swordswoman from his graveyard. But now Geargia Anchor flips down and then flips up with its effect, and its new effect will destroy 2 monsters in Silva's field. He's slowly just decimating Silva's field. Silva is left with 1 card in his back row, 1 princess on his field, and only a single card in his hand, while Hamada's monster zone is full. 2 cards are in his spell and trap card zone, and 2 cards remain in his hand.
Hamada is definitely in complete control here this game. We see the opening from Geargia being so strong with Ties of the Brethren.
Geargia Arsenal attacks. Amazon's Princess is destroyed.
We see the direct attack.
Oh, Silva uses Amazoness willpower to stay in the duel and special summon his Amazoness Queen.
Doesn't look like we're going to have a set Super Rush Headlong or anything to be able to deal with this Amazoness Queen. Because as long as the Amazoness Queen is on the field, Amazoness monsters cannot be destroyed by battle.
Hamada doesn't have a monster with over 2,400 attack points anyway.
And does it look like an Amazoness Princess is going to be summoned here?
That was certainly good. But the question will be, does Hamada have an answer? And he does. Curse of Anubis switches all monsters on the field into defense mode. On Hamada's next turn, he could use the effect of his Geargias, and it looks like this duel is as good as done. Geargia attacker flips down and flips up. Now it gets to destroy 2 spell and trap cards on the field. He targets the willpower just to make sure that the Amazoness Queen is destroyed, even if his Geargia anchor weren't able to destroy it. He uses his anchor's effect next, flips it up to destroy the Amazoness Princess. And Silva's face down Amazoness Onslaught will be no help. Hamada has taken a quick 2 wins.
Just like that, yeah, Manda is up 2-0.
Tough break for Junior.
I use my face down card. My trap activates.
That ends my turn.
If I can just
Looks like we're waiting here for Duel 3 to start.
I draw. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect activates.
All right, sorry, this look like we are waiting here for the stream to catch up. We're going to go ahead. Yeah. So this looks like Amazon's Onslaught is going to be split face up here, but I don't think that's going to be enough here for Silva to do anything about this game. Just being his last card, he's going to try and spell summon. There's no monsters in hand to spell summon with the Amazon Onslaught, so it's going to be a Geargia Anchor attacking directly.
Even if I were to fall, I will not surrender.
Yeah, you probably should.
I attack you directly.
There we go. Well,
It was an honor.
again, a very tough break for Junior Silva.
Very tough, very tough. But Hamada does take a 2-0 lead here, as Mike was saying, and we're only 1 game away from winning.
I really want to see this go to 5 games.
Well, in order to see that, we're going to have to see Silva win the next 2.
Well, he's not playing any Destiny Heroes, so...
Yeah, Hamada is the one with the Destiny Hero deck. We don't even know if we're going to be able to see that deck in a game before. If it ends here, we have a standard.
Come on, Junior.
Silva will need to win at least 1 duel in order to force Hamada to use his Destiny Hero deck, since that is one of his legendary duelist decks.
So the 2 standard decks we have looking at, I'm assuming we're going to see Seto Kaiba out from Junior Silva because he is playing a for hire deck, and that is considered one of the most consistent and powerful decks in Duel Links right now. But it looks like I'm wrong. He isn't going to go Seto Kaiba.
Oh.
It's going to be Yami Yugi versus Arcana. So we are going to have Balanced Noble Knights, which is one of my favorite decks, up against probably Spellbooks, I would assume.
Hamada is indeed using Spellbooks with Show of Nightmares as his skill.
So,
Yeah, but he's not a good friend of yours.
All right, so I'm excited to see what Silva does here.
I summon a monster in attack position. I set this card face down. My turn is done.
All right, so we're just going to see a summon of Adristan and a set back row, which is not the opening you want to see for Noble Knights. The Noble Knights, you either want to open up with Adristan with an equip card on it, such as like Noble Arms of Destiny, so when you equip it, it won't have to destroy anything. And then have a set card like Typhoon or Wild Tornado to destroy that equip card during your opponent's turn to re-equip with Adristan and pop that face of a monster. So unless he... It's kind of touchy here. I don't know if he's playing Paleozoic Canadian in his deck, but if he is, you don't want to always book. Oh, it's a Floodgate Trapple. So even though he's putting that Spellcaster face down, which is how you prevent Spellbooks from playing cards like Spellbook of the Master or Spellbook of Fate, if he does have a copy of Silent Magician in his hand, he's going to be able to tribute that Spellbook Magician face down and still have a Spellcaster even more powerful. That's probably the monster you want to Floodgate.
I special summon a monster.
But it does look like it is the Silent Magician coming down here. As I said, and with the Spellbook of Power, if he has a Spellbook of Master to copy the Spellbook of Power along by a Spellbook of Faith, the World Championship could end right here, and Hamada will be the victor and the new Yu-Gi-Oh! 2018 World Champion. Waiting to see. It's like, oh, it looks like he's going to go with copying secrets just to get the fate. Oh, he's going for eternity.
Nice suspenseful music.
Instead of copying Spellbook of Power.
Ready for this? I think not.
I guess he just thinks against Noble Knights, just having a Spellbook of Fate face down is usually enough to defeat them. You're able to banish that one monster. They can't equip anything. Noble Knights' deck is heavily reliant on the monster.
Yeah, he also has Silent Magician pinning down a spell card once per turn, capable of negating one.
I end my turn.
It's my turn. I draw a card. I'm counting on you. I summon a monster in attack position.
Come on, Yugi.
From my hand,
Summons Megarot and equips it with a Noble Arms equip spell. Our Feudatour.
I activate my monster's effect.
Silent Magician's effect activates, negating the Noble Arms.
from my hand,
He's going to activate Northern Destiny. So maybe we'll see a flip of Spellbook of Fate here.
In fact, we will. Hamada Chain Spellbook of Fate. He's going to be banishing Megarot from the duel, leaving Silva with not many options.
let's battle. My turn is done.
Time to spice
That's it.
up
Hamada's
this
going to
show.
draw a card, raising his Silent Magician's attack points to 3,000, since he'll have 4 cards in his hand, and with only 2,800 life points left.
Direct attack from Silent Magician, and it's over.
Well played, Hamada.
So Hamada takes that quick 3-0 victory, and he is the new 2018 World Champion. Congratulations.
Outstanding. Congratulations.
Japan wins this year. Last year we saw Oceania and New Zealand winning, but
Yes.
Japan showing that they know Yu-Gi-Oh better than anyone.
Considering how many people play this game, that's
そ
quite
れでは勝利した浜田貴弘選手トロフィーの前へお願いします。優勝おめでとうございます。一言コメントをお願いします。
いや、本当、デッキ調整に手伝ってくださった方々、本当にありがとうございます。
決勝のステージはいかがでしたか？
決勝戦の感想ですけれども、自分の手札が上振れしすぎていて、ちょっと申し訳ないなっていうのがちょっとありますね。
応援してくれた友達にも一言お願いします。
いや、もう先ほども述べたんですけれども、本当に、デッキ調整手伝ってくださったり、応援のコメントをしてくださってありがとうございました。
おめでとうございます。The Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Duel Links Champion from Japan, Takahiro Hamada!
Outstanding. Congratulations to Takahiro Hamada. That was just an incredible round.
There's a reason why he's in the finals. It was a quick 3-0. His decks were solid. The choice of the order of the decks is the most important part. So in this last game, we got to see Spellbooks versus Noble Knights, which is just an incredible matchup favored heavily for Spellbooks.
It's very interesting that we didn't see any for hires in the final round, even though almost every duelist in the tournament packed at least one. We packed one for hire deck.
Certainly we would have if it had gone to 4 or 5 games.
Yes, as both duelists actually did have a for hire deck.
And probably we're saving maybe for that last important game, because the one deck that is able to beat for hire is for hire, so maybe they're both saving it for that ace card. But unfortunately, Silva wasn't able to even get to the deck to play with. But it was great. I had a great time watching all these Duel Links matches this weekend. Had a great time with all you guys that are here joining us. We still do have the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG Finals coming up next in about 10 minutes. I'm very excited to see it. I know we already saw the Dragon Duel Finals where Charlie was able to win, and now the Duel Links Finals are over. And congratulations once again to Takahiro Hamada.
Well done, sir. Well done indeed. All right, so that's, I guess that's us signing off. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes with the World Finals of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG.
World Championship season. We are here at the World Championship in Chiba in Japan, and we're ready to crown a new champion.
Yep, this time it's no repeat performance from Japan. They were eliminated by the end of the quarterfinals.
Yep.
Also, nothing from the United States. They were eliminated before top 8. Nothing from Canada. They didn't make it past top 8 either. So it's been a little rough for North America, but for New Zealand, on the other hand, Australia rather,
it's looking pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Taiwan as well, and I don't think we've seen a competitor from Taiwan finish this well in quite some time, have we?
No.
I think that the year I went, 2013, Xian Huang, I think he might have been from Taiwan.
From Taiwan.
Yeah,
So
I know that he was. I know he spoke Chinese, so that's why I'm going to assume he's from Taiwan. But he could have been from a different country. But yeah, but if I had to guess.
Yeah, well, certainly
Taiwan.
not two nationalities we usually see in the finals of the World Championships.
Very unique matchup as far as that's concerned.
As well as the decks. Yeah, but before that, let's take a look at this VT.
我叫汪嘉信，我来自台湾。我的强项是，我觉得是组牌吧，因为我会用数学去算说要放几张牌。因为我对这个环境大多数的牌组环境做过分析，那针对这个分析，我会知道要在牌组中放什么牌。没错，秘密。
Burden Temnick, Australia. Just playtesting with friends. Most of the people that came here to the World Championships were people that I had traveled to America with a couple of months ago. So we sort of just playtested together, and we all just came to we were playing in a tournament in America. I went undefeated, so I had 4 wins in Swiss with 1 draw, and then I won in top 8. So undefeated technically. Everything seems to work out for me.
The third match, Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship! On the blue side, from Taiwan, Wang Jiachen! And on the red side, from Australia, Bodan Temnick! Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018開始いたします
So, there we go. We have our 2 duelists, and as we were saying, a very interesting matchup in terms of decks.
Yep. Ching playing the pure Trickstar deck, something I didn't expect this tournament. I don't know if y'all expected it, but when I saw this list, I didn't think it was the best. But now, after assessing really how the meta shaped up and the best things to do, Trickstar's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of cards that just match up really well against everything else that's in the format right now as well.
Yes. With everyone's eyes towards Goki, you know, maining a bunch of hand traps, a bunch of interactions to beat big boards, Trickstar just sort of goes under all that, right? Just single card advantage engine, easy way to burn out your opponent after you've done a little bit of damage, and they're just stuck with all these dead cards against you.
Bowden also taking a stand against Goki in this tournament, playing Altergeist, a deck rather known for its favorable matchup there.
Yeah.
But his unique piece of tech has been Mind Crush throughout the weekend. It allows you to declare the name of any card, and your opponent has to discard all copies of it from their hand if they have it.
Speaking of declaring cards, Bodan also has another very interesting piece of tech that I've been told is the sole reason that he's going to win this matchup.
Is he thinking that it's the Lullaby of Obedience?
Yes.
What's he planning to use it on in this matchup?
I've been told that he's gonna just kick it back game 1. He's not planning on winning game 1 at all. That doesn't sound like a great plan initially, but That's the plan. And then games 2 and 3, he's hoping to just lullaby of obedience his opponent's inspector border.
Interesting. Assuming that it goes into the deck.
That's what I said when someone said to me, "Oh yeah, this is the plan."
Yeah,
so
if you lose game 1, then you're going to go first game 2, and they're not going to put in inspector border, are they?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Are they?
I think there's. Please.
I think there's pros and cons to it. Inspector Board is one of the best cards against Altergeist.
It is.
Not close. And I think that the matchup is so slow and back and forth that something like Inspector Border still might be good even if you are going second.
Interesting.
Yeah. You also have to consider that Ching has so many hand traps in his deck that he wants to take out all these cards that are so well lined up against Goki but not Altergeist that he's probably just going to bring in as many cards as he can to make his deck as optimal as possible.
Yep. And Bodan's willing to risk all of that on 2 copies of Lullaby of Obedience.
Apparently. That's a strategy I've been hearing from the guys who've been speaking to him all day. But we'll see. We'll see. There's probably a bit more to it than that, I'm sure.
We heard his introduction video. Things just work out for him,
if you,
apparently.
Yeah, but if you look at his side deck, he actually has just a ton of cards for this matchup. His Thunder King Ryo, Shared Ride, Lullaby of Obedience, Heavy Storm Duster. All of these cards are great here.
Dark Hole's even good because you can't escape with Lycris.
Exactly. Even Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit isn't that bad. If they Cantina and they don't have Lycris in their hand, it's a great way to stop the chain.
Indeed, and with fewer terraformings in the format, they are less likely to be able to do it.
Right. I think that if Bodan can actually like sneak out game 1 with a good Mind Crush here or there, I think he has a very good shot at winning this.
I do think it does kind of revolve around game 1, though. Like, you can't get into a hole against this particular deck.
Yeah.
It's just really...
Trickstar can sneak. The thing is, you just said about sneaking out victories.
Yeah.
Trickstar is pretty good at sneaking out victories.
It really, really is. Anytime you get too low on life points, like if they have Light Stage out, you can't get to 1,000, or you're in danger of Lily Bell hitting you. And if you don't have monsters on the field, then that number goes up. And the more cards, the more good stuff that they've seen in the game, the number of life points you can't get below without being threatened with, an OTK or something like that, just keeps getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
It's like the old danger zone used to be with Gaga Cowboy.
Yes.
Or Nightmare Shark, and that number just keeps going up.
Yeah.
Trickstar is another entry into the line of things that give you a certain threshold you can't cross without essentially losing the duel.
Exactly. One thing that I'm getting from our discussion is that we're really kind of, this isn't a solved matchup whatsoever. I think
it's not.
We're kind of, we're analyzing this as we're thinking about it. There's not a lot of kind of prior data to this matchup because it's not been seen other than in this World Championship stage.
It's because of the prevalence of Trickstar Sky Striker is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Adding the Sky Striker cards to Trickstar made the matchup against Altergeist just so good that it practically removed the deck from the format.
Yeah.
But here, where the Trickstar Sky Striker deck doesn't exist, we can see the natural matchup between the two without the hybrids, and that's I'm excited to see it. That's a pretty good spectacle to have for your final match of the World Championship.
Yeah, I actually cannot wait to see how this plays out. It's going to take a lot of skill from both players to. They were both building their decks to beat Goki. Let's be honest. That's what they were really aiming for here, because they knew it was going to be prevalent. And I think that's important to think going into this final match, because they're going to need a lot of skill to be able to use the cards that they have available to themselves to play in a different matchup that they really weren't aiming for.
It's true. So, for example, Lycris does damage when you search and add things to your hand, or actually just when you add things to your hand. But as we mentioned before, one of the reasons Ash Blossom isn't quite as good in this matchup as others is because it does a lot of setting to the field with Altergeist Marionetter. So there are certain things that would normally get you free damage with the Trickstar deck in other matchups that just won't work against Altergeist. But other situations, like leaving Cantina on the field because they play so many trap cards and they need to use a lot of them, could get you more damage that you weren't expecting. So Jing will have to think on his feet as well as this match gets underway.
Yeah. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see how this match plays out. Neither of them are going to be prepared for this whatsoever, and they both look really hyped and ready for this.
Yeah, they've only had about a couple hours since the semifinals ended, and they found out, each one found out who their opponent was going to be.
Yep. So they will have spent hours preparing, talking to the other world's competitors, and figuring out exactly, what the mindset should be. I know, all of the European players and the Oceanic players in Bodan's case have really kind of pulled together in the past few hours to help him, and I can only assume that Jing's fellow competitors have also done the same.
That's the thing. I don't know if they had or not.
Yeah?
I don't recall seeing them speaking together, but they might have been doing so in the lunchroom. But I definitely remember seeing basically a mob around Bodan.
Yes.
Getting ready to help him out in this match. So it could be that Just like in the TV show, having friends have your back could be the edge you need.
The power of friendship. Okay, Bodan wins the dice roll.
And that's real good news for him.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, 16 trap cards in his deck. He'll be able to start playing on his opponent's turn. Immediately. Yeah.
Let's start the final match. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship! 会場の皆さん、一緒にカウントダウンお願いします。3, 2, 1, duel!
I think another big part of this matchup is going to be the fact that one reason why Altergeist has had so much success in this tournament is its ability to interact with the opponent using multi-figure into Silquitus.
Yes.
Right? Bounce effects are huge against decks that rely heavily on the extra deck, right? However, against Trickstar, Silquitus I don't think is going to do very much.
No, in fact, it just makes his deck better.
Right.
By giving him more special summons, more searches, more of that good stuff.
So I think that's a very big aspect of the Altergeist deck that usually makes it so strong where it just does not come at all.
I also note that Ching is playing Gozen Match.
This seems like a really short start here for Bodan. Just one single back row card.
It is indeed.
But with multi-figure, a single back row card isn't that bad. If that's personal spoofing, that's everything he needs.
Yeah, could turn into anything.
Yeah.
So the thing, all the Altergeists have different attributes. So if Ching can establish Gozen Match on the field, things like multi-figure become irrelevant.
Yeah. So
Rivalry of Warlords is activated on Temek's side. Activates Rivalry of Warlords on the end phase. It resolves successfully. Activates Multi-Faker. And Multi-Faker's ability activates as well.
Yeah, so the big thing we're going to see Multi-Figure do here is try to give him more advantage rather than giving him ways to disrupt his opponent.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked to see... No, he thought about Meliseek there. I thought he was personally going to go for Meliseek.
Yeah, me too.
But he might be trying to just go for repeated Multi-Figure activations.
Yeah, I would assume he's light on traps, though, if he only set the Rivalry Warlords.
Interesting. Yeah, that could be the case.
Yeah, I don't know. But thankfully, for Bodan on Ching's end, there's no Candina, no light stage, no start.
No, really not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Straight away, we're seeing these guys kind of enter the grind mode.
Do we know if he just didn't start with any monsters or if he chose not to play them?
I did not see. I would assume that he did not start with any, though, because it seems really hard to choose not to normal summon Candida. Worst case scenario, it gets 1 for 1, right? Your opponent just plays 1 card to deal with it, and then it's not like you're down.
Rivalry of Warlords doesn't really match up too well here with the all fairies of Trickstars.
Right.
But it would keep some of the tech choices off the field, like Eater of Millions.
Indeed.
Yep. I think purely in this case it was for getting that multi-figure trigger.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, multi-figure just going up a card, right? Like, the rivalry has basically replaced itself already thanks to multi-figure.
Yeah.
And it still has plenty of applications, like preventing nightmares from being summoned and that sort of thing.
Right.
But, you don't necessarily need your extra deck at all if you have enough Trickstars. 0, it's not enough Trickstars. All right, Bodan's up. Thinks long and hard about what appears to be monsters. Yeah, I do think you're right about being very trap light. On the standby phase.
Yeah, goes a match.
Yes, he flips goes a match. Good move. That's a good move. That keeps Silquitus on the field at his only card, and he might be kicking himself for not getting the Meliseek.
Yeah. That brings us right down to having to have the same type and attribute on the field.
Indeed, and guess what Trickstars are? Light fairies.
We see a pot of desires.
Goes in match. All players must control only one attribute of monsters. And we see Grandmaster getting into a bit of a fight there.
Yeah, with Anishi, right?
Yep.
With Shogun looming in the shadows.
Yeah, overseeing the battle.
But is it? Or is it one of the imposters? Who knows?
Good point.
Pot of Desires banishes 10. It resolves. And Bodan gets a couple more cards. Does he have any sort of removal for that other than Meloseek?
I'm doubtful.
Yeah, I think at this point he's just going to start going
Infinite
into this.
Impermanence could be a potential out if he sets it in the middle column.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, saves it for his own turn. Even if he has to burn it, if he's able to just take a turn to get rid of the Gozen match, that might be enough.
That's a good point, but he sets nothing.
Something very interesting we spoke about during our previous match, the win rate of this particular matchup at the tournament is heavily favored to Trickstars.
Interesting.
In fact, he's not dropped a single game against Altergeist.
So we'll see what plans he indeed has. Then again, we'll see if he draws any Trickstars.
Yeah.
That's a very important first step there, and the fact that he was looking at his extra deck kind of gives me the impression that he's got something. Oh, Eater of Millions.
Interesting. So yeah, that means he definitely doesn't have any Trickstars.
Yep.
Do you think that Eater of Millions getting rid of this is going to be the right move here?
Yeah,
it's a little tough
because it's going to leave Bodan's field then open to choose a new monster.
Yeah, and in particular, he needs the Meloseek, and it can attack past Eater of Millions.
Exactly.
All right, so he takes 5 cards out of his extra deck. Don't need those anyway. I don't think there are too many Light Fairies there other than Holy Angel.
And he's going to move to battle, and Eater of Millions is going to try to gobble up the Silquidus.
Yep. And it's actually got some attack points. It's got 1,000 right now, I believe. 100 for each face-down banish. Actually, no, 15 because he banished on his own.
Yep, looks like Boden might be looking up Eater of Millions.
Yeah,
see specifically how it does work.
It does activate, but it is at the start of the damage step, if memory serves correct.
Just as I was saying in our previous match, it's one of those cards where you know what it does in theory.
Yes.
Checking, I mean, of all the games that you want to check the wording on a card, right now is the correct time.
I mean, it's the difference between whether or not you can Ghost Ogre it or not, if it activates in the damage step or otherwise. Activates the effect.
Yeah.
Eater of Millions grows 100 larger.
Yeah, I really don't know what Ching expects to happen here. I feel like leaving that Silquidus up was the way that he could eventually draw into one of those Trickstars, stall out the game until he gets his thing going, but...
Indeed.
Now, he knows that Temik has just a grip full of monsters, right? He passed with a single trap card set. He knows he at least has Multi-Figure.
I guess he... Yeah, I don't know. I guess Ching felt that he wanted to at least get going.
I think Temik picked up. Yeah, he's got the Meloseek, but I think he's picked up Infinite Impermanence.
Yeah, so even if this doesn't go through, he still has a way to potentially answer that Gozen match the following turn.
Indeed.
This might get effect valored. Yep.
Oh.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, that's going to help.
Yeah, I think it just stifles it just for the turn, though, because that Meloseek can still search another Altergeist card, right, when it's sent to the graveyard?
It can, but it's not going to get sent to the graveyard.
It'll be banished.
Oh, because the Eater Millions, you're right.
Yeah,
oh, with Infinite Impermanence set. Oh, no, I meant on the following turn, but you're right that Eater Millions would cause it to be banished, but Temik does have the Infinite Impermanence for the Eater Millions.
That's true. He'd have to use it on the attack here.
Yeah. That would also open up
the Gozen match, yeah.
Gozen match, yeah.
So then at resolution of Infinite Impermanence, he could activate Multi-Figure, right? Because the Gozen match has been negated.
Yes.
Yeah. That seems like a pretty big blowout.
Yes, he could.
Yes.
Well, barring, say, a reincarnation.
Right, yes. But then again, there's only one copy of Reincarnation, right?
It's true. But if he's not drawing monsters, he's got to be drawing something.
You're right.
The attack is declared, and it's...
That's huge.
That's huge, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't undeclare the attack.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is a blowout.
So Infinite Impermanence will both negate Eater Millions effects and the effects of Gozen match because it's in the same column.
I think Ching's realizing that right now. He might have Solemn Judgment set. I think that's what he's considering.
He has to if he's got it.
You kind of got to.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's a choice really to be made here.
Now you got to take your due diligence on it.
Impermanence?
He activates Infinite Impermanence. Is that Infinite Impermanence?
Yes. Infinite Impermanence. Temnik's... I don't... What does that do here?
Yeah, I'm confused.
Does it make it so that he can't Multi-Figure? No, right? Because the last thing to happen is still Temnik's infinite impermanence, right?
Indeed. I'm not entirely certain what's happening here. All right, so Gozen Match is negated, and Melisseek is negated. Oh, no, I know why he did it. It's so that he doesn't lose a card when his monster crashes into
Oh, I
Melisseek.
understand. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's still just all bad, though, right? He basically still loses a card. He's just not going to lose the Gozen match.
Right.
Yeah, I guess in my head, it doesn't really make much of a difference in the long term, I don't think.
Oh, Bone's not going to activate Multi-Faker here, though. He's just going to let it through.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Oh, no, it's because Gozen Match will reactivate and he'll lose all his cards.
Yes, but can't he, at that point, the Eater Million's still gone, right? So, like, if he Multi-Fakers into another Melisseek, can't he just, like, send both Melisseeks to the graveyard during the end phase, get 2 searches, and still just be up?
Yeah, you only get 1 search.
Oh, because
It's a
Melisseek's
hard
once
one.
returned, yeah. Okay.
But still, you would be able to at least then...
No, I think Temnik's
You think
plays
keeping
correct, though.
Melisseek?
Yeah. Now,
Well, you could just send the Multi-Faker and keep the 2 Melisseeks.
that could also be true, but it's not like he can't do it. I guess it depends how many trap cards he has in his hand, right? Like, whether or not he thinks he's going to be able to... Well, does...
He doesn't have trap light right now.
Yeah.
There aren't any.
Does Melisseek only search monsters?
Yes.
Okay, so he...
Interesting.
I mean, he could still get Marionetter to get a trap card so he can trigger the Multi-Faker.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like, variables there that... Definitely a bunch of different lines, but I think that...
Whatever the line is,
least,
keeping Melisseek
I think committing the least amount of cards is the safest for sure, because it's not like Temnik lost out in that situation at all.
Yeah.
He's grinding away Ching's cards 1 at a time, along with his life points, 500 at a time.
Yeah. I think, whatever happened in that situation, he needed to keep the Melisseek on the board to be able to start grinding these cards away from Ching.
I wonder if he banished all of his other cards he could summon with Melisseek.
That's possible.
That's one of his irons.
That is possible. Yeah, that's one variable we can't consider.
Ah, okay. There's a Marionetter. Marionetter, when normal summon, you can set an Altergeist trap straight from your deck.
That's going to bolster his trap count a little bit.
We'll see what happens, though. That gets hit by impermanence as well. The double impermanence.
I feel like that's still just fine, though, right? Because it's still just going up a card, basically.
Yes.
I think I saw a flash of an Ash Blossom in Temnik's hand as well, which make things kind of difficult for Ching.
And Temnik is so far ahead here.
Yeah, this game is not going how we thought it would at all.
It's just not drawing the monster.
Yeah, didn't draw any monster.
Yeah, if he had a single Candina or light stage, this game would have been completely different. He would have been able to put the pressure to make the Gozen match matter.
And now he's got Inquiry to block attacks and negate effects as well. Like, we've actually seen this a lot just today. Just a lot of bad luck.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of consistency issues, right? That's part of why we talk about, you know, even though Trickstar only needs 1 of those cards, it still desperately needs one to do anything. If you miss on those 7, it's really rough. Same thing with
the Sky Striker
deck,
was
right?
really rough.
Yeah, it misses on one of those 7 cards. Like, you have some ways that you can maybe meander your way there with Area 0 and the combination with like multi-roll, or just excavating, getting a little lucky. But
yeah, the Altergeist deck is it's completely full of stuff.
Maybe this is just
part of your engine.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Karma Gods coming back to bite Ching after that easy game against Sky Striker, even though it was a favorable matchup in the first place.
That could be it. The RNG sways both ways sometimes, and we saw a lot of that in the Duel Links matchup last time as well.
I felt Ching exhale from here. That's how big an exhale that just was when he drew that card.
Yeah, I mean, with
wow,
this is the deck we were talking about that plays more hand traps than anything we've ever seen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of just dead draws at this point now that Temnik has gotten going.
2 set monsters. Well, I guess in that case, they're likely both hand traps.
Yeah. I'm just shocked. I can't believe this match is going the way it is. We thought at least the game 1 was going to go in Ching's favor.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, though, eking it out.
Yeah.
He either needed a key Mindcrush or a key way to stop Candina, or what's better than stopping Candina?
Yeah.
Not seeing it at all.
Don't need to stop Candina if you don't have one. Just saying.
Attacks 1 face-down monster. It's Ghost Reaper. Takes 1,800, and now Ching can only have zombies on the field.
Yeah, so attacking this is going to make him choose one or the other.
There's no choice. It must be zombies.
Yeah, it existed first.
Rivalry don't get to choose.
Yeah, I think Temnik might be a little bit confused.
It must be. It must be zombie.
Yeah, now he understands. It was clear now. Yeah, if both flipped up at the same time, then
you would choose.
There would be a choice.
Yes.
He just got a little bit ahead of himself. I think he's just so excited that this game is going this direction.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And you know, if you have questions about Rivalry of Warlords or Gozen Match, or there could be only one because it works the same, we have a nice website available for you on yu-gi-oh-card.com. Under the Advanced Card Rules section, under Gameplay, there is a specific thing on what do these cards do, how do they work, what am I allowed to do.
Yeah, I remember when I first started traveling to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, Rivalry of the Warlords and Gozen Match were some of the most confusing cards I didn't understand for a long time.
They really are.
Yeah.
As a judge, I loved understanding all those different things, but it's fallen away from me nowadays. At the time, I used to pride on knowing all those different things, which is why we have so many fantastic judges on the stage to watch over these matches.
So I don't think they can actually look up the website on the iPad right there. I believe they're limited to just the card database.
Yeah. Although that would be pretty useful
helpful
for Ching at this point.
Maybe a little too much outside advice. And he's looking up Hexia right there to see what exactly it does.
Yep.
It gains attack equal to the original attack of the Altergeist points to. And it can tribute an Altergeist points to negate the activation or effect of a spell or trap. Oh, and you know when it goes to the graveyard, you can search for an Altergeist card. Yeah, that too. It only does everything.
But wait, there's more. That's what I heard. That's what it seems like a lot of these Altergeist cards. When I was reading them the first time, it was like, oh, this is solid, but wait, there's more.
Yeah,
and then sometimes there's even just a last little bit.
Yeah. Something good, and then just an extra bit, just in case the good things weren't good enough.
More good things.
Yeah. I've got to say, Bodan's in a good spot here.
Eater Million's not a bad thing to have, though.
No, that's going to help.
You can get rid of that Hexia without sending it to the graveyard, and it's getting pretty big, isn't it?
Yep.
It's 21 face-down banished cards right now, if math serves.
Yep.
It should be, right? 5 from each Eater Million, so that's 2, then another 10 from Desires, and the first Eater Million's attack.
Yep.
It's going to go up even more if this attack goes through.
Eater Million's currently at 27.
Yeah. Honestly, Ching doesn't look phased in any way by what's occurring here.
Ching has been the coolest cucumber I've seen thus far throughout the tournament.
Yeah, having the attack points on Eater Millions is really huge, because normally 2 monsters just beat it because it's so small. Normally the only face-down banished cards are the things you banish to play it. So you could just sacrifice a smaller monster to it and then take it out with a bigger one. But in this case, it is the bigger monster, other than Hexia.
The Altergeist cards don't have a huge attack points, do they?
Generally, they don't. Their biggest main deck monster in terms of attack points is Marionetta at 16, and the biggest defense is Conquarium, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, I completely forgot that he had that in his hand, and Jing might have as well. So it both blocks the attack and it negates the effect of Eater Millions for as long as it's face up on the field.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to always play at least one.
It's very, very useful.
Definitely.
It was interesting, the first duel we saw with Ghost Girl in Brains, she was using this card a lot and wound up losing out because he didn't have a monster zone that could be used to summon it. Exco Talker had blocked it off.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when the Conquery is summoned and its effect activates, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is going to destroy it. That works.
Wow, Bodan's face said it all just then. He was very much, if I had to translate that into words, it was just, wow.
Like Owen Wilson. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
So yes, there are 2 effects on the Altergeist Conquery. The first one is the attack negation that also special summons Conquery.
So the effect comes back on, but the attack's still negated because of Concrete.
Correct.
Yeah.
It gets 2 effects, not 1. And because the effect is negated, obviously you don't get a replay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just had confirmation there. That's exactly what they were saying about the attack and the negation, about exactly when it starts, stops, and what Ghost Ogre actually does. So,
indeed. So we'll see what Bowden's up to. He's got another Meloseek.
Yep, that's gonna help with the.
I think he's got this one now.
Yeah, well, he can summon one more Eater of Millions, but I don't know if he plays a third.
It's 27 and 12 is 39. Ching's going to get at least one more turn out of this, but Temnic's going to get to search for some stuff depending on what's banished. Taking a look at his banished cards. And now he's going to make the second Hexia.
Yeah.
There it is. You know things are going well for you when you're making 2 Hexia.
Yes, absolutely.
Searches for another Silquidus, which may in fact be the last Altergeist in his deck.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cards left in Bodan's deck, in fact.
Now, I'd been hearing throughout the weekend that people were actually just decking out, just running out of cards and losing. I think it was, might have been the UK players telling me that.
Okay. Wow.
Which is like, really? How?
Yeah. Very cool.
All the decks are so strong, you're sure to go to 0 life and 0 cards.
14 cards left. That seems like a whole bunch.
Yeah, as long as you don't play another Desires.
Yes, that would be bad. As you said, double Hextia. That's
it's hard to deal with, especially because the first negation will get yet another card.
Yeah.
All right, Jin's up. He's got to do something, and he's got to get it past probably an army of hand traps in Temnic's hand.
Yeah. I feel like Jing's done really well to even stay in this game.
Really, he really does. His draw was very poor.
There's light stage.
Well, that's
about a millennia too late.
Yeah.
That'll get negated. Gets another search. I mean, if you're going to have any chance at all, I guess you have to have Candina.
Yeah.
That's to have any chance at all. Not a huge chance.
No.
That'll put them down to, I believe, 13 cards. Indeed.
It's not looking good for Ching here in this first game of the World Championship Finals.
I think it's going to look even worse, right, next game, because now he'll definitely bring in Inspector Border.
Yes.
That's it. Temnic takes a very clean game 1 after that first little trap battle that we saw against Eater of Millions.
Yeah, so
looks like you only need 1 trap if it's if you got multi-faker.
Yeah.
So our first game here going to Bodan Temnic from Australia. That means just 1 game away from becoming the world champion. Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game 2018.
It's a big accomplishment, and you know, at the start of the tournament, when we were deciding, you know, what deck would we bring, what deck would you think we were going to win, I was still thinking Altergeist, and it could still happen. But you know, I got to admit, when I saw the deck list this morning and the way they were matched up for top 4, I was really feeling that, you know, the Trickstar deck could get through there.
Yeah, I mean, it was exactly what we said. The Trickstar, all the cards line up well here. Like, he has Gozen Match, he has like Candina, just the card advantage engine from that one's crazy. In addition to he has actual trap cards in his deck too, like Psalm Strike, Psalm Judgment, Psalm Warning, like real ways to interact in addition to the hand traps. But he just couldn't see a monster. He couldn't see a monster that mattered.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about that. It was
such
really
are the dangers of dueling.
Yeah, a bit of a...
The Pop Idol concert ended a little bit early.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I don't think it started.
There is.
Late to the stage.
That's true, yeah. So we may see them start their performance in the second game.
Well, we're going to need to if we're going to get a game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're going to get an encore.
Otherwise, it's not happening. So Bodan, we'll see if he gets his Lullaby of Obedience tech working here.
Yeah, let's take a look at the side decks. So from Temnic's side, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, solid. Effect Veiler, also solid. Just ways to stop Candina are good enough probably. Thunder King Rao, huge against Trickstar. Something that you probably even want going second, because they're going to keep on trying to summon the Candina.
Constantly.
Yeah, so as long as you just clear it once or just get it on the field once, you're good to go. Shared Ride, I still sided ain't even going second against Trickstar because it's still going to be a slower matchup, right? And you still expect them, that's how they're going to win the game, is trying to Candina you every turn.
You got to watch out for that, though, because you might take yourself out with Lycoris.
That's true. That is true. But I think that getting the extra cards there might help you find a way to stop the Candina chain. And I think that's all Temnic's trying to do. So he also has Lullaby Obedience, which we heard is going to be one of his game plans for this matchup.
That's when he's going first, though, is it not?
I'm not sure.
Just in general.
Just in general, he's always going to put it in no matter what?
I don't know. It could just be another optimization thing where he's just going to look at his deck, find all the cards he doesn't want, and make the trade. So like some of those hand traps, like Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, you know, solid, but maybe they aren't actually what he wants in the matchup, right? So like, even though they seem like they're cards that he could put in over something like Rivalry of the Warlords or what have you, maybe they don't actually go in.
It's also a little tough with the 2,000 life points.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, you're right, against Trickstar. That's kind of big.
Yeah.
He also has Dark Hole, Heavy Storm Duster, and Solemn Judgment. Heavy Storm Duster, great one.
Pretty
here,
good.
I'm sure.
Pretty good. Dark
Solemn
Hole's
Judgment,
pretty good too.
Yeah, Dark Hole, solid, right? It gives you a way to, when they summon Candina, they're going to hold Lycoris, right? Most of the time. Your Dark Hole, they're going to respond with Lycoris. You're going to clear away the Lycoris, they're still going to have Candina, but that's a good opening to summon something like Thunder King Rao.
Especially when there's only one reincarnation in the format.
Yeah.
So they're not going to get multiple special summons back.
Yeah, Solemn Judgment is a bit of a rough one, because you definitely don't want to be paying that much life against Trickstar, but if you have something like Thunder King Ryo up, and you're just trying to make sure that it survives and doesn't get negated, that might be something. It might be a going first card.
Yeah.
That he's hoping to pair with something. Looking at Ching's side, so we have a copy of Effect Valor, 3 copies of Inspector Border. Seems solid, but we'll see. Cyber Dragon, also probably solid. Just if he's trying to take out all these hand trap cards, he's probably going to remove as many things as he can. Shared Ride, maybe not the best. Book of Moon, probably fine. It's just a point of interaction, right? Like, it might help you win a battle.
Or put the Meliseek face down.
Right, yeah, and that would be huge. Both these decks are trying to play very low to the ground, right? They're just summoning monsters, beating down, just trying to grind out card advantage.
Classic stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So we saw Book of Moon just be a format all-star for so long. This could be a good point there. Heavy Storm Duster, we talked about how good it is against Trickstar. It's even better against Altergeist. Yep, so we'll see those come in. Imperial Order, not going to see that one. Only a few spells in the Altergeist deck, not the best. Neil Ceiling, definitely not. Evenly match, maybe if he's going second.
Could be a game 3 if we've got one.
Yep.
So, the players have side decks, the players ready. Let's head on over to the table.
We were back at it with, it's Inspector Border. Here he is.
There's Pot of Desires followed up.
And you can't ash that thanks to Inspector Border.
Nope.
Yep.
That's a rough start indeed. But this is one reason why you want Dark Hole in your deck when you're going second.
So Inspector Border is a fairly complicated card.
Yes, it is.
Right. So would you like to explain maybe to the people at home who don't,
all right,
maybe aren't so familiar with the card and exactly how it works?
First, you can't summon Inspector Border if you have any monsters on the field. It has to be the first monster you play. And while it is on the field, players can only activate a number of monster effects up to the number of special monster card types that are on the field. So Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, Link.
Okay.
And this counts even negated activations. So if, say, there's a Link monster on the field, so you can activate 1, and you activate your monster effect, and the activation is negated by Solemn Strike. That's your 1. You don't get another one. Unlike other things like Great Shogun Shien, which would not count that.
There is the Lullaby of Obedience. So,
he does ask for Inspector Border.
Yeah.
So this is a very complicated card. While writing the text for this card nearly gave Kevin a heart attack.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So this lets you declare the name of one card, one monster.
I think I just heard Ching say that he banished both from the Pot of Desires.
Oh my goodness.
That is so unlucky.
Oh
no.
my goodness. Oh my
what a disaster.
Someone call Todd. Sometimes it doesn't just work.
No, absolutely not.
Wow. I'm stunned.
Yes.
I am absolutely stunned. Starting with the 1 border and banishing the other 2. That is unreal.
That is, in fact, the perfect counter to Bodan's strategy of playing a Lullaby of Obedience and taking his opponent Inspector Borders.
Oh, my goodness.
Can't take it if he doesn't have it. Just saying. Wow. I guess the judges here have got to work out kind of how do they legally prove that he's not got any Inspector Borders in his deck? I guess he has to show.
I hate this rule. I absolutely hate this rule.
Yeah, I mean,
because it only applies to things like this. You know, you can't ask your opponent to reveal all their set cards as you're playing Infernity.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. It's just stuff like this, and it's not information you're entitled to.
Yeah. So Tipnik's going to give it a quick look. Doesn't see Inspector Borders. Sees a couple other side deck cards, so now he has a little bit more extra information, but is pretty diligent about the speed in which he checked. Didn't take too long to study it.
Like, because you're not entitled to that information, you're not allowed to just go slowly through the deck.
Right, exactly. You just gave it two, double-checked once, and that's it. But there was a Cyber Dragon, so that's probably a little bit of extra info.
Indeed. I mean, we saw it on that particular...
Yeah. The rest of the cards, though, I don't think he saw anything too interesting. He saw, like, Scapegoats, like, very standard cards, so I don't think he really...
cards.
Yeah, I don't even think he saw... I didn't see a copy of Heavy Storm Duster.
Yeah. But still, there's a bunch of info you can get from looking through there, though. Like, stuff like the Scapegoat isn't banished.
Or just, like, what cards he drew. Like, you don't have a lot of time to study, right? But if you see just one Scapegoat, the issue is Pot of Desires, right? Because he Pot of Desires, you really don't know. Normally, you'd be able to look through it and, like, oh, you know, there was only 2 copies of... I don't know. I can't even, I'm blanking right now. There's only 2 copies of Trickstar Light Stage in the deck.
Yes.
One might be in his hand. Oh, wait, he Pot Desires, maybe it's in that 10. It's more likely to be in that 10 banished cards than it is in his hand.
It is.
Yeah.
But it does kind of help at least a little bit about what this face down could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
at least a little
studying,
bit.
now Bowden has to study Inspector Border. He knows he wanted it, but he doesn't know quite exactly how it works.
So, yeah.
Activates infinite impermanence from hand and negate it for the turn. That's certainly one way to get around it.
Yep.
It works. Does he have Meloseek again?
Yep. At a resolution, he has Multi-Figure, in fact. Not quite Meloseek. Goes a match. He's going to be retained, though.
Oh, no.
This is big.
Oh, no. So he's going to have to summon the monster and send it straight to the yard.
Is that how that works?
If it's chained. Yeah. If it's chained to the effect. So normally you wouldn't be allowed to activate the effect at all.
Oh, but the effect's forced to resolve.
Yeah. And then as soon as the resolution happens, that's when they immediately have to apply the effect of Goes a Match to clear up the field to
I don't think that's what the judge ruled it as.
Actually, no, perhaps not. Maybe I need to go read it.
Yeah, I did not think it worked like that. I thought that as soon as Goes a Match resolved, then the monster would not be able to summon anything anymore because...
Oh, no, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of if you special summon multiple monsters of different types at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because it's not simultaneous, it's 2 separate effects.
I did think there was some way where something got sent to the graveyard immediately, but I can't remember exactly.
It's if you summon multiple monsters.
Is it?
So I'm looking at Multi-Faker and thinking, oh, it summons multiple monsters, but it's not at the same time because it's multiple effects.
Yeah, well, there we go. Anyway, so I was going to say about Inspector Border, it's not like he's got a small number of attack points either.
No, so 2,000 attack and defense.
Yeah, and that's much bigger than any of these Altergeist cards.
Goes to battle and attacks the face down.
So yeah, as long as we enter the damage step and that gets flipped up, then it's going to get sent to the graveyard anyway. Goes in hatch.
This is another Multi-Figure, then
that's true.
Normal dead. Hits Meloseek, and Meloseek cannot activate.
Because of Inspector Border?
Because of Inspector Border.
Jing with multiple set cards there, that's not gonna feel good for Bodan.
Unless he's got Heavy Storm Duster.
That would be definitely big. That would be real good.
Big.
And
Which he does. Wow.
I think his other card might be Altergeist Manifestation as well, because he checked his graveyard a bit there, and that's the one that would make the most sense to me right now.
And he loses an
It's the
impermanence
as well.
Ooh.
If that was Manifestation, though, I think you're supposed to flip it right there.
Like, knowing Boden's luck in this particular game, I was just about to say, it's probably another Goes a Match.
I think that's a big reason why, if he has Manifestation down, though, he's supposed to activate it then and there.
Yeah,
not going to
the
have another opportunity.
Wow.
That's sad, though, because that's also a 50-50.
Yeah.
Right? He just targeted one of the set back row.
Yeah,
that's
the other
duel
one
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
These first 2 games has been very variance-based.
Yes. What a reversal of fortune there, though, for Ching, who, you know, didn't look so great in that first game. Bodan looking real hot, and now it's just swapped right around.
So Ching still doesn't have a Trickstar.
I was just about to say, the concert still hasn't started, though. There's no stage, there's no Candina. Inspector Border's really ruining the party right now.
And you know, well, yeah, the police shows up. There is no party.
There's no concerts allowed here. Only some straight up single Yu-Gi-Oh.
You know, what I gotta say though is given the way this game is going, the first time he gets a Trickstar monster, you want to bet Tenmic's got Rivalry of Warlords face down to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think he likely side decked it out though. That is just not good enough in this matchup.
That's what I mean.
Spoofing.
Yeah. Personal spoofing. He's gonna shuffle it back.
Let's see what he gets here.
What a simplified game state this is.
It is.
The police are here.
You know, we're going back to 2002 with this. We just got trap cards and monsters fighting each other. And the occasional spell.
2002. We don't have to go back that far.
Well, we do if we want to draw 2 spell with Pot in the name.
Oh, I guess. I guess.
I don't know what card you guys are talking about.
Oliver's looking at me like, hey, did you steal my Pot of Greed joke? Did you do it?
Yeah,
I did.
I think we did. Yeah, I'm just imagining him in the Asta voice now.
Just shaking his head over there.
Yeah.
As we shuffle up some more.
This is where that Dark Hole would be real nice.
Yeah, that'd be real good. Because we know he's not got another. He's not got another Inspector border.
Yeah, but we know they probably brought it in now. Actually, while it's not that good against the standard Trickstar deck, I think after you know that they're bringing Inspector border, it's definitely a card you want to see.
He's going to take 2000 direct on the replay here, though. Unless he's got. No, he's got Manifestation, right? Is that what we decided he probably has?
I have a good read that it's Manifestation, but I didn't.
He checked the grave. He checked the grave, which makes. I believe so as well.
My dueling sense is tingled.
Yeah, exactly. Unless that is like a next level graveyard check. This is definitely Manifestation. Bam, it's Judgment. I don't know. Who knows? It definitely wasn't Judgment, otherwise we'd have seen that on Goza match. But it could be something. Could be anything.
All right, so still attacking directly. And Tenmic's down to Duel Links numbers here, 4,000 life points.
It's not a big clock when they've got Inspector border.
I was actually going to say the opposite. That's a huge clock. I feel like there's not a lot of monsters that can end the game in 4 turns on its own.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a
short one.
Short
clock,
amount of,
yes.
it's a very short clock. Yeah, there's only.
It's a huge clock that's very short.
Yeah. Big clock, not a lot of numbers. Just 4 numbers on 1 clock.
This is 2. The only number is 2.
It's 2, yeah.
2. That's how much you're taking every time. And he takes it again.
Yeah.
Although the good Inspector had a little help from Lullaby of Obedience there.
Yes, he certainly did. Which is highly ironic, considering he also has 2,000 attack.
And it's really rough for Bowden that's supposed to be the surprise tech that just wins you the game, and you just steal the championship for it.
Yeah.
But now that he's revealed it, King has a chance to respond to it.
Yeah. I think this next side decking by Ching needs to be very thoughtful. He needs to really have a think about this.
Yeah.
Assuming he wins the match, that is.
Do you think you bring in Inspector border now? I mean, do you bring in both questions? Does Temnik bring in Lullaby, and does Ching bring in Inspector border?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Trickstar Light Stage hits the field, and Bowden has shared ride for it.
That's going to help, but the concert is starting, regardless of the Inspector border being there.
Yep, Ching's still going to take him for a ride, though. Going to give him at least 1 card. Probably not anything else, though.
No.
We can assume he had Candina, but maybe...
Do you just summon Lycoris here?
You may just summon
search Lycoris?
So one thing you got to watch out for is that Altergeist Marionetter has pretty square stats. Well, not quite square, but 1,600 attack, 1,700 defense. So Lycoris can't actually beat it in battle.
Yeah.
And if that set card would be a Marionetter and not the Meluseek, you just bounce off and take some damage and would not be able to end the game this turn.
Yeah.
So I think you just...
But with the light stage, doesn't have enough attack? Is it 16 plus 2?
It does not boost the attack.
Yeah,
it's damage.
Yeah.
It's a separate instance of 200 damage each time.
But I'm more thinking that if he has Lycoris, he can attack with the Inspector border, attack with Lycoris for 1,800, then he can just pass, and then Bodan loses from the Lycoris effect.
That's true. It's not an activated effect, so it will work. I think I like that a little better, because that guarantees the win.
Yeah, Temnik must have felt really good after game 1, and seeing his game 2, I'm sure he felt great.
What did Ching get here?
He
freezes the lockdown.
Back row. It is Candina.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both light.
He's probably so used to playing with Rivalry all weekend.
Yeah.
Quick little heat check on that.
Yeah, to be honest, that's just as good, right? Just to get Candina, not activate the effect, attack with border.
It's 2,000 either way, because either border takes out the monster.
Yeah, all the
Candina does 18 plus 2.
Yeah, so this game here in the World Championship Finals for 2018, it's a 1-1.
Yeah.
important thing here with Temnik
from Taiwan
is
takes
gonna
that
be
game.
not tilting out. I think that game might have ruffled up
him
a little. Like you can see his face. He's definitely frustrated by how it went. We were talking about how cool of a cucumber Ching was earlier. You know, he's kept the same demeanor throughout every match, regardless of how far he is ahead or behind.
Yeah.
Saw him sigh once.
Yes. Yeah.
But Temnik is a bit more emotive.
Yeah.
It's just such an unlikely coincidence.
That's the thing.
And especially after you hyped yourself up to do that exact thing.
Yes, exactly.
Before the match.
That's the thing. If you've really thought about that before the match and you've been thinking, yes, this is the moment. This is the moment I shine. I'm gonna bring on the World Championships with Lullaby of Obedience, and then it just doesn't work out. That's got to be that's a much bigger kind of deflatation of him than when Ching just drew the wrong card and breathed out a little.
Yeah,
that's a big difference in how much emotion that you just lost and expunged from that play.
Still, getting to start Game 3 in the finals with all of your traps and everything intact, that's got to feel a little good.
Yes,
like, I definitely think you have an advantage with your 16+ traps going first.
Yes, absolutely.
The issue is Candine is going to be really good against a lot of those traps. Light stage 2.
It's true.
They line up real well, and we don't have the table cam on right now for people at home, but I'm pretty sure that Temnik has chosen to keep in the lullabies.
In the lullabies?
Yeah, I don't know about Ching's ending because he's keeping his cards kind of close, but it's definitely going to be an interesting game.
I think he's actually he's like piercing stare at his side deck right now. Ching was just piercing his side deck with his eyes.
Yeah, with how it's hard because it's
really trying to figure out.
You saw Inspector Border just win you the game right there.
Yeah,
right? Can you really just not keep it in, knowing how good it is in this matchup?
Yeah. But you also just saw an amazing card to combat the Inspector Border, being the Lullaby of Obedience. It's a real difficult decision.
It's tough, and then you got to figure out, well, how many lullaby is he actually playing?
Yeah.
Was it just a one-off there, or is this really his plan? Is he going all in on this thing?
Yeah, and as we discussed it yesterday, we discussed it today. There's a lot of lights, there's a lot of people. We can see this huge stage behind us.
Yeah, I'm sure nerves are high.
You've got to make that decision with all these eyes watching you right now, and that's tough. That's a tough thing to do.
It is tough, but I think you got to roll with Inspector Border.
Yeah,
I really think you do, and just hope that he doesn't draw the lullaby again. Yeah. Or if he does, that you have something to deal with it. Like, could he deal with his own Inspector Border?
Yeah, if it
happened. Has he got Dark Hole or something? He's got Mind Control.
Didn't we say he had Book of Moon?
Yeah, but Mind Control, he has Book of Moon.
He can Mind Control, link it away.
Though. Yeah, I don't know.
You got
I guess he has Infinite Impermanence.
Yeah, he's got Impermanence.
Yeah, but like that's still not that great. I don't know. It's really bad because if you don't draw the Inspector Border and your opponent suddenly has their own Inspector Border, everything goes sideways, right?
All these things we're saying right now, he's got to weigh up in less than 3 minutes to side deck. About if I don't draw it, he has Lullaby. Is that worse than me having it and then him not having a counter? If I have it and he has,
I know why you keep it in.
Yeah.
You keep it in because if you draw if you don't draw Inspector Border, you can Candina for reincarnation, and when they lullaby, you give it to their hand and then reincarnation.
That's true. You, as the opponent, get to choose where to go.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good enough reason to keep it in because you have at least 7 ways to get to reincarnation.
Yeah.
In addition to the ways you already have to deal with Inspector Border, and the card is just so good against Altergeist.
Like the one time it doesn't work.
This sounds like solid logic.
Is when the lullaby comes in that first hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Temnik goes first, right? Yeah.
Goes first.
Yeah, that's the ultimate one that's going to really like play on his mind.
It's not an easy choice.
It looks like he made a decision though.
Yeah.
So
I do not envy Ching right now.
I'm so excited for this game right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, I did not think I could get more hyped. We went from here to here, boys. I am ready to go. Thunderstick in hand. Who you guys rooting for? Blue or red?
Oh God, I don't know.
That's tough. I think in my brain that Trickstar will get this, but in my heart I still want Altergeist since it was my pick at the start of the event.
I like that too. I'm going with red.
I've lost track. I've lost track.
Red is voting.
Yeah, red is Altergeist, red is Temnik, red is Australia. We have blue on the other side, Ching from Taiwan piloting Trickstar. The Blue Angel is indeed blue, my friend. Ghost Girl is representing red.
Oh, Thunder King.
Thunder King comes down.
Thunder King set pass is pretty good unless he's got Inspector Border.
Right. I remember the first thing I thought of.
That's a good reason to have Inspector Border.
Cyber Dragon.
Oh,
he's going to negate it.
Cyber Dragon eats, or rather, Thunder King eats Cyber Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an explosive start to this third game.
Yeah, especially with only a single... Oh, after sighting, he has 2 copies of Cyber Dragon in his deck.
Indeed.
So 2 copies is fine. Matches up against Thunder King Route. 2 copies, you're going second. You're more likely to draw because you have 6
this is the
cards.
first time we are seeing Ching like visibly upset about this situation.
I think he might have forgotten Thunder King's other effects.
Still, do you change your play? I don't think so.
Whoa, but I don't know. Why? What?
Yeah, he attributed Thunder King to negate the special summon.
Of Cyber Dragon, yeah.
And I think Ching might have forgotten that it had that ability.
But even if you know that, do you change the play? I think getting rid of Thunder King is...
Might have had Book of Moon. That might have been it. I don't know what else he would have...
Oh, Book, yeah. If he has Book, then...
That would be
wow.
A definite case of just forgetting.
Yeah, and every other card there, right? Like, if he has Inspector Board too, just normal summons Inspector Board or attacks. There's no other thing that would make him really think that hard or wince like that, right?
Yeah.
I guess Infinite Impermanence, but Infinite Impermanence... It could be Infinite Impermanence.
Infinite would work.
Yeah,
that might be it, actually.
Yeah. There's a few different reasons that Ching would have been visibly upset there.
This is the first time I've seen him make that face either.
Yeah, it's got to be big. It has to be big.
Yep, went from a cool cucumber is what I tried to say. A cool cucumber to a hot tamale in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and Bodan was fairly happy with the outcome. He's been able to get a Muleseek down, straight out into Linkaribo.
Yeah, and he searches Marionetter.
Yep.
Which means he already has Multi-Figure, most likely, right?
Most likely.
Unless he just doesn't have a trap card and he needs the Multi-Figure to get there.
If he doesn't have a trap, that's sure ride.
Look at Ching's fist right now. He is tense.
Yeah, this is a big this is a big aspect of anything competitive though, whether you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, sports, anything, is making sure you don't tilt.
That's absolutely correct.
Just accept the game state, move on. You're not going to gain anything by sitting there grinding over
thinking about it. Absolutely not.
Yeah, one specific mistake that people make quite a bit after they make a mistake in a game is they play to try to correct the mistake, not to win the game.
Yes.
Right, yeah, they don't... Yes, exactly. When you take a line that isn't ideal and you realize halfway through, man, this isn't the best line, it's still mostly better to commit to those lines than just try to switch like your path halfway.
Right.
Ching is really... Yeah, the cucumber has certainly changed here. Whew.
Another face down for Bowden. 3 monsters in hand, it looks like.
Okay. He's got to take a breath.
Yep, now he looks like he's back in it.
So I'm trying to keep track of which one is which in his hand right now, and the card he just drew is still at the top. Now it's not anymore. I just want to see which card he plays so we can maybe get a read at what he had the turn before.
Yeah.
He's thinking long and hard about this one.
He's considering between the card he just drew and another card in his hand.
A light stage would be really nice.
I think this is the card he just drew. It looks like it's going to be Lycoris.
Slowly places Trickstar and Lycoris onto the field. Goes to battle phase, and he's going to draw out the Linkaribo effect. At least try to. Linkaribo tributes. Her effect, or rather her attack points are down to 0.
Goes to end his turn.
On the draw.
Lycoris damage.
100.
Oh, this just went from like 100 to 0 right away with a back to grind game.
I don't know. I think it's pretty firmly.
Right? He would set it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Book.
Know what it could have been.
What could it have been?
For a second, I thought like maybe. I don't know.
If he has Inspector Board, or he just plays it?
Like, oh, I special summon this. No, because it's still Thunder King is still going to stop Duality. I really don't know. He doesn't even play Duality, but I really can't think of a card.
No.
I guess even Impermanence here you've set, right?
Yeah.
Altergeist Marionetter that was searched off of Melisy.
Oh,
next.
What if it was Mind Control?
Ah.
What if he had Mind Control plus like a Lycoris, right?
Yeah.
Then he is able to Mind Control the Thunder King round, normal summon Lycoris, link it away.
This is one of those things that you need, that you want Claire and Rushka for.
Yeah. That is the only one I can think that would work, or cause him to have that reaction.
All right, so it gets hit by effect failure.
Yep.
And he puts it in the graveyard. I do believe I missed something right there.
Yeah. I don't quite understand why it's now in the graveyard.
Oh,
just using the effects.
I think he might have gone Ghost Ogre effect.
Is he going to call Inspector Border?
response.
Yeah, and I think he has it in his deck.
What is he asking for, though?
Inspector Border. Oh, Cyber Dragon.
Oh! Cyber Dragon.
Oh!
That seems smart.
That's incredibly smart.
He knows he's got Cyber Dragon because he's seen it.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so heads up by Temnik.
Because he knows he would have summoned Cyber Dragon last turn if he had the other copy.
Yes.
So he can account for that second copy of Cyber Dragon in his deck.
This is what it takes to become the world champion.
Well, it's interesting because he only mained one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he knew that and didn't know that it was a side decked one as well,
true,
then that could have backfired horribly.
Yeah. This is the statement of the match. This is what it takes to become the world champion.
And I did hear Bowden was trying to tell him, well, it doesn't matter where you put it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just
he's a special summon.
It 100% does matter because of Lycaris.
Yeah.
Because you get damage if you put it in their hand.
Is it anytime they add a card from anywhere or specifically their deck?
Yeah,
anywhere.
This is this is currently being checked by the judges. I just had someone in my ear telling me that that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's every time a card is added to your opponent's hand.
Yeah. Yep. So Bodan very happily said, "Yep, I'll take the 200."
Mm-hmm.
Wow. My mind is blown. He just Lullaby of Obedience for a Cyber Dragon.
Now we're advancing it a little further. We're getting closer to 2004 here with CRV.
Yes.
Temnek was a little confused there because he saw a card that was dropped on top of his hand that wasn't his,
Yeah.
and he had forgotten. And the
it was going to be in a different sleeve.
Yeah.
Come on, that's something you got to remember, right?
just played Lullaby of Obedience.
I think that the nerves are getting. He realizes how close he is to becoming the world champion, so he's just being as careful as possible.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Takes a look at his extra deck.
Might mean that he has access to Candina, right? Or Eater of Millions, that could be another one. I was thinking about maybe he has Candina into Lilybell.
Oh! This is my Cyber Dragon! This is my Cyber Dragon. I want it back right now.
I think that's what the card he had on the first turn that made him really reconsider everything.
Yep, exactly.
Because he could have taken the Thunder King Ryo and that was it.
He heavy Storm Duster's mind control.
Okay, I'm guessing this is for the
multi-faker
trigger.
Yeah, so that he can probably put up a Silquidus, right? And just disrupt whatever his opponent has because he only is likely to have a normal summon. So he wants to get the Cyber Dragon back to his hand, so he's going to Silquidus back whatever he normal summons.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is?
If the normal summon is Lilybell, though, or sorry, is
Candina,
though,
yeah,
then he has
you're
two
right.
summons.
Maybe that's also just the only, because his opponent hasn't been setting spell or traps, right? That could just be the only time he feels like he could actually activate the one trap he has to get the Silquidus.
Yeah, that's a good play. The Ghost Ogre right there is going to stop Silquidus unless Bowden's got Altergeist Protocol or Manifestation.
No, I think he's just going to get Malisik and put himself on the back burner a little bit. But
Now, what is this? I can't see what it is.
It's Malisik.
It is
Malisik.
Okay.
Interesting. This is a fantastic game.
Yeah. This is world caliber stuff right here. This is what I said. Neither of these guys are ready for this matchup, but they are just showing their absolute skill to play this game. Guys, we just saw someone Lullaby of Obedience Cyber Dragon.
Yep. And then have it mind control back.
Yes.
It's been a real what year is this moment for a while now.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago when those cards all first came out.
Yeah. Kaiba would be proud of some of these cards being played right now. He really would.
Lullaby of Obedience is such a weird card. That was definitely on the list of stuff that, we should make this sometime. But it's kind of complicated. Oh, but it's so cool.
There's a lot of formats where I feel like Lullaby can just be a blowout. Like we saw it in Zodiac, right? Stealing a Zodiac monster. Here it's great. You can grab their Altergeist monster. There's just so many ways. You can even grab Ray with it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that seems huge. It just seems like there's so many applications like that for that card.
Yeah. It's just amazing in the mirror, in any kind of, well, not even the mirror match, just a match where something is useful.
So Nightmare Cerberus would be pretty good right now to put that Meliseek away.
It all depends on this back row from Bodan.
I do wonder though. He flips it.
He's thinking really hard. These next couple decisions are going to define this entire game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if Chin has, because
Mind
Crush. Oh
Crush.
my goodness.
He's going to guess. And it's a guess.
Yeah. Jig is clapping. He is applauding his opponent right now.
Trickstar Lycorus. He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
Oh my God.
There's no Trickstar Lycorus.
On the. Oh my God.
So he's going to discard. That's it.
Oh my goodness. Well, we did not see his hand. He did not place it in view of the camera.
No, but we can tell from what just happened. Bodan discarded a card.
He banishes the
For
Cyber
Eater of
Dragon.
Millions.
Eater of Millions. That's
oh
his
my
other
God.
monster.
And he's going to get rid of the Milliseek.
In the safest way he knows to banish it face down.
Oh, man.
I have not seen a better duel than this one in so long.
What a game
That
for
was
the World
biggest gamble by
Championships.
Temnik.
Now, the interesting thing is he can banish more than 5 cards. Not a lot of people know this, but it's at least 5 cards.
Oh, he's just a whole pile.
Yeah, send them all away.
As if he just heard.
Eater of Millions is hungry for this game.
15 and 16. It looks like he just took his entire extra deck there and tossed it.
Yep.
Very,
I think there's still a little bit left,
Seemed like
right?
tokens. I think it was they were tokens.
Oh.
Unsure. It's a lot. He banished a lot of cards.
Oh, yeah, they're tokens.
There's nothing left. Only tokens. So it's on 1,600. Plus then the one monster, 1,700.
And Boden's looking for Marionetter.
Yeah, Boden
just no cards in hand, does he?
No, he has nothing. He just mind crushed away the last card.
That's right, he lost it.
It was just Silquidus, though, which wouldn't have helped him out that much. Oh, we see him rubbing. Didn't even slow roll it straight to his hand. Nope, it's just a set card. But I think by that reaction, it might have been a manifestation. I don't know if he's overplaying it. You know what I mean? Oh, we're in time.
We're in time. Last turn of the duel. He can't deal any damage.
Oh, my goodness.
He can't deal any damage.
Chia, the world champion from Taiwan.
Unbelievable.
What a game. What a game. My co-commentators are stunned.
I can't.
What a fantastic game we just saw. Lullaby of obedience for Cyber Dragon. Give me it back. Mind control.
That's that 2000. The 2000 killed him. That was literally the difference in the game. 2,000 life points in time.
You can just see Ching soaking it in too. He can't even believe that game because of how just bad it went.
Oh, we're gonna head on over to the stage to hear from our champion, Chia Wang Chia.
それでは勝利したジアンチンワン選手、トロフィーの前へお願いいたします。優勝おめでとうございます。今の気持ちをお聞かせください。
很高兴今天打到今天的冠军，那很谢谢陪我练牌的大家，还有我的家人，还有我的女朋友，谢谢大家。
It's very happy to win the champion this time, and thanks for all my friends training with me, and my family and my girlfriend. Thank you.
今年のチャンピオンになれてとても嬉しいです。友達のみんな、私の恋人、皆さんありがとうございました。
それではトロフィーを持ち上げてください。The Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 champion from Taiwan, Wan Jianshan! 素晴らしい試合を見せてくれた選手にもう一度盛大な拍手をお送りください。 選手退場。もう一度ステージに登場していただきましょう。Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Dragon Duel Third Prize. From Japan, Naoki Shitagaki. Second prize, from Germany, Kai Heidinger. Champion, from the USA, Charlie Fudge III. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018 Dual Links. Third prize from Chile, Patricio. Second prize from Brazil, Junior Silva. Champion from Japan, Takahito Hamada. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2018. Third prize from Italy, Francesco Simoncelli. Second prize from Australia, Bodan Temnik. Champion from Taiwan, Wang Jiachen.3部門のファイナリストたちにもう一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。そしてこの2日間の大会を戦い抜いた全てのデュエリストたちにも登場していただきます。遊戯王ワールドチャンピオンシップ2018すべての戦いが終了しました。今年もさまざまなドラマが生まれ、そして新しいストーリーも誕生した戦いでした。熱きゲーミングアスリートたちにもう一度大きな拍手をお願いします。そして今この時から次の世界が始まります。2019年の 新しい戦いに向けてスタートを切りましょう。最後に皆さん一緒にコールをお願いします。それでは参りましょう。3、2、1、デュエル。
All over the place, every match. I rode the roller coaster.
Yeah, from start to finish, this has been an incredible tournament, and what a fantastic climax it was in that finals.
Well, two things from that last match that I really want to point out. So obviously there's the mind crush, where if he called it right, he would have been able to go.
Yeah.
And do the last damage needed to tilt the score back in his favor.
Yeah.
But obviously that didn't happen. But before that, I think there was a really clutch play from Chim there. When the multi-faker was summoned, where he managed to both ghost over it to keep it off the field and effect veiler it at the same time to negate its effect.
Yeah.
That got him into that position.
Yeah, making use of those hand traps that would traditionally not be good in the matchup, right?
Yeah.
He's making the best out of his worst.
It is, and that's especially after the beginning of the game. We're assuming that he had the mind control. Is that what we're assuming for the Thunder King?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's got to be it. Yeah, I think if you just mind control the Thunder King and then play something else and link it away, then yeah, I think that's why he felt so strongly about that move.
But he managed to get back into it, get his head back in the game, and he came up with some really clutch plays there.
Yep.
Yeah. And I love Eater Million Spanish everything.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun, and especially if it's one of your last turns and you have to deal as much damage as possible, the move makes a lot more sense.
Indeed.
Yeah. I think just I cannot get over the lullaby of obedience. And he was like, no, this is my Cyber Dragon.
Yeah.
I want it back. I need it now.
That was really good. So the lullaby worked out a lot better in that matchup than I initially expected it would have. I remember Bowden saying, well, this is mainly for the Ultimate Mirror match.
Yeah.
To get more multi-fakers out of the way. Because in that case, you'll, if they special summon it, you get the effect, or if it goes to your hand, you can summon it later.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
the effect. But, sometimes if you're going to come up against the matchup you're not expecting, you have to take another hard look at your cards and see, okay, how are these going to help me in this matchup?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So flexibility is one of those things that you definitely need to be as a competitor.
Yeah, thinking on your feet, right?
Yeah.
Every little twist and turn, adapting. You know, he's sided in lullaby obedience for Inspector Border. Halfway through the duel, realizes Cyber Dragon might be the way to go. But also, Ching correcting that tilt he had. You know, oh man, I should have just mind controlled the Thunder King round, normal summoned a monster, linked it away. I could have had it.
When he drew his card for turn, you saw him just tell himself, compose himself. He took a breath, and everything that was on tilt came right out of his mouth in that single breath, and he was able to compose himself and bring it right back to game face. It was amazing.
Yeah, so it's a little rough for Altergeist. I really did think coming into this that Altergeist was going to get it, and you know, with a different call on Mind Crusher, would have.
Yeah, definitely.
But Trickstar, well-deserved victory there.
Yeah,
only person in the tournament playing it.
Indeed.
That's the drawbacks of Mind Control, Mind Crush, sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
If you do get it wrong, it's real devastating.
It was interesting that his choice was Lycris, especially after already seeing one. The odds of there being another would be very low.
Yeah, by sheer guesswork.
Candina, and I think his read shouldn't have been Eater of Millions.
Yeah.
Because he would have just summoned that against the Thunder King Rao anyway, right?
Yes.
Like he could have held on to Cyber Dragon or at least played it throughout the game. So, yeah.
Candina would have been at least a better choice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us.
Yep. I think we're coming back to us.
Yep. So next year, well, we don't have some information on where we're going to be next year, but make sure to stay tuned to the Yu-Gi-Oh website to find out where the World Championship, where in the world it might be next time.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts, Robbie? Let's start with you.
I had a great weekend. That's all I gotta say. A great weekend. Couldn't have asked for a better match.
No, I agree with that sentiment on not being able to get a better match, or at least a better third game. The first two were just so weird. Yeah. All the stuff the numbers say doesn't happen, say won't happen, it's eventually going to happen. Eventually, it's going to happen. It just happened to be in the finals of the World Championship this time.
Exactly. That the lullaby.
Lullaby.
Desires, lullaby, that whole thing.
That was crazy, but I've had a fantastic. Well, it's almost been a week here.
Yeah, exactly.
In Wednesday, so it's about 5 days. I've loved my time in Japan this time around, and I've really enjoyed the tournament. Been a lot of really entertaining matches so far, all capped off with a final. It's really everything you could ask for.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a World Championship game.
So, Wang Chia-Ching is our world champion of Yu-Gi-Oh! For 2018 with a deck that was completely unexpected, Trickstars. But apparently the pop idols in the location around us led him to victory.
There were only 3 of them in that whole thing.
Exactly. But still. So that's going to be it from us here from Japan for the World Championships 2018. We'll catch you guys soon. Keep on dueling.